Hey, we are alive. Hello, welcome one and all to episode 69 of the Megavision Show, the companion podcast to Megavision's magazine. Today is January the 31st, 2021. I'm Graham Cookson, the production editor of Megavisions, and joining this week, he's been living in a material world, but he's not your usual material girl. It's Scotty Moe, the managing editor for Megavisions. And also joining us this week, he's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. His life in plastic is fantastic. It's Chris Powell, aka Baron Von Powell. We are back once again live on Twitch. So keep us company and fire off any questions you might have in that chat and we'll get to it. So as always, we'll be answering some of your burning questions. We'll have our picks of the week where we're chatting about, as Wikipedia tells me, an action comedy adventure heist anime, comedy TV show I've become addicted to, and Tetris Effect. So yes, we have all that. Plus we have our feature discussion. We'll be testing out a new feature that we've wanted to do for a while called Reverse Elevator Pitch. So strap in, let's crack on with this week's Megavisions show. Yes, that's right. We are live. So, yeah, before we crack on with the show, as always, let's start with how our week's been going. So, Scotty Moe, I'm going to start with you. Tell us how your week has been going so far.
That's right. It's episode 69. That pick up at all on the mic? I hope not.
I heard it.
All right, good. Air horns for everyone. Yeah, guys. Man, we made it. I have been actually playing and doing a decent amount more than I normally do. Everyone gets to see my beautiful quarantine locks. I realize it's been almost a year since I've had my haircut. Just fun facts, I guess.
That looks fabulous and flowing. I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Using my good old free ear pods or whatever these are. I forget what they're not pods because I don't have those. But no, I've been I wanted to give a quick update because I recently got that strictly limited physical collector's edition of Cloudpunk. And I wanted to bring it up because Chris loved that game and he introduced me to it. And I played it on PC a good chunk. Rachel and I played it. She likes open world stuff I learned recently, but she got me the physical edition on PS4 for my birthday, and we were playing that, and man, the PC version is the way to go, because the PS4 version, it's like N64, not fog, but like there's just nothing, and then you keep driving. Yeah, the draw distance is a little rough, and you actually, if you remember when you go through the tunnels to get into another part of town, it's pretty much instantaneous. And like the conversations, if there's a conversation happening, it's still going. That all stops. There's a quick load screen. And by load screen, it's just black with a white load bar. And then it picks back up once you get in there. So it's, I didn't realize like that game doesn't, you look at a screenshot and you think that's really pretty. It's very it's very Blade Runner-esque and everything. Like it looks cool. But if you're watching the game, there's a lot going on, but you don't think about that until you're on something that I guess cannot output it as well as a PC does. And I don't have like best of the best PC.
If you really look to be able to generate all the different cars and all the traffic, there's so much stuff going on. And I guess, man, the PS4 is running on. How old is that now? Like 8 years old. And so it came out in 2012. Was it something around
probably
2013? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but anyway, Cloudpunk is such a good game, man. I need to get back into that. So that's really cool. You got the physical version. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's I'm happy that I have it because I know that's a game that I'll play once like Steam disappears or something. But the new camera angle they added, it definitely feels like they added it after the fact, because when you get out of your car, for anyone that doesn't know what Cloudpunk is, I described it last week. Go watch or 2 weeks ago. Go watch our episode. But when you get out of your car and you're walking around, it would have this zoomed out and you're this little voxel lady walking around. So the new camera angle lets you do it in first person or just kind of zoomed in more, but the controls are not made for that because the camera is static. The old version, the camera is static and you can like move, like you move the stick left to go left, you move the stick right to go right, and then like into the background and foreground. When you change the camera and it's just third person view, you lose that ability to go in any direction with the left stick, and you have to rotate the camera with the right stick, and it's very like slidey and stuff, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't. So it was very apparent very quickly why they did not have that camera angle in initially.
It takes a lot of getting used to, I think, just to control the vehicle to begin with. It's very floaty, very loose controls. Once you get the hang of it, it feels very good and very natural. Mm-hmm. I think it just takes some getting used to. I can only imagine what throwing in a completely different perspective and then just kind of hamstringing the controls to try to, adjust and compensate for that might not necessarily make for the best gameplay all the time, I imagine.
It doesn't. We were going in and out of the camera angle. We couldn't find a comfort, like a happy middle with it. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that real quick because you know about Cloudpunk, and it's apparently you can get just like the base PS4 model. There's a Switch version. I can't imagine like being able to adequately play that game on Switch, handheld. I should clarify.
There is a Switch version.
Yeah, there is a Switch version. Wow. So it's
right here.
There you go.
Check it out.
I'll shoot you a link for the signature edition. I had it prepped here because I wasn't sure if it'd be worth mentioning or not, but check out our side chat there, Chris, if you are curious.
Oh, thank you. I actually might pick that up.
But anyway, outside of that, I did check out that Transformers Earthrise. It's the second chapter in the Netflix Transformers animated series following it. The whole thing overall is called War for Cybertron, but it has nothing to do with those games that were released on like 360 and PS3.
Okay. Someone at Microsoft named this series.
They had to mess up with that. But it's good. That first chapter is good. The second chapter is just so depressing though. Like I won't say any spoilers if nobody's watched the first. It's only like 6 episodes, the first chapter, so it's pretty bingeable. But man, it's just not visually. Yes, it is dark, but also tonally it's dark and just like. So I was watching this. I watched the first 2 episodes on my lunch at work, or like, consecutively in 2 days. And I was like, I got to watch something else because I'm trying to like get out of the work mode for like half an hour, 45 minutes. But this show's just like bringing me down. So
it's a very dystopian setting in that. And I love it because it's so different than what we've seen in a lot of like Transformers animated stuff. Outside of the movie and things like that, which is
right.
But I'm talking about like animated series. I'm really enjoying it. I watched the first, I guess, chapter, the first season or whatever. I did watch the first episode. I know exactly what you mean about it being super depressing. I haven't finished it. I definitely want to get back to it. I love that they've returned to kind of the G1 style for the characters. I hope that 100%. That's just whoever. Is it Hasbro that's still in charge of Transformers these days? But
actually, you mentioned that, but I don't recall even seeing their logo anywhere when watching this series.
I wonder who owns them now.
I mean, Hasbro is the company. Yeah.
I would someone at Hasbro needs to be like, this is how the Transformers are going to look. And no more of the Michael Bay bullshit that came about. Like, just put that in the past. This is the iconic look. This is what you want your Transformers to look like. And then having some variants of that, I think, would be fine. So
I think so. Opinion. I looked up real quick, and it looks like Hasbro still is making the toys, maybe for this series. Yeah, okay, they are. It looks like, but no, I feel like this series is like, it's not for kids. It's not for like the kid. It's not like if you grew up like Chris and I, grew up with G1. And it's not like that's the story of the Transformers, But that in mind, I feel like this is how Sega should get a goddamn clue and treat Sonic fans now and know who they're catering to. Like, I feel like that's what this Transformers series is, because it's not like, oh, you're 8 years old, we need you to buy every version of Optimus Prime out there. Like, no, because he's getting his ass kicked. He's making some bad decisions sometimes in this show, like things like that. So I guess I'm more attracted to that of it overall, because it's not just like, hey, Wheeljack, let's go play some football and teach kids not to do drugs. You know, like, it's not.
It definitely explores some interesting areas where it asks questions like, is Optimus making the right decisions? And is there someone else that might be better to lead the Autobots instead of Optimus? And you see Optimus doubt himself
pretty consistently.
Really and so I think it's very fascinating, because we've never seen something like this before, and it's doing it at a really high level from an animation standpoint. I think they're just knocking it out of the park. Like, I haven't seen what they've done with the rest of the season. I really hope that they set it up for like a good next chapter, because I really like where they're going with this. I hope it keeps doing well and continuing.
Yeah, from what I understand, this is chapter 2 of 3, because it is overall called the War for Cybertron trilogy. Which is also weird to think of something, but that makes sense in the Netflix age now, that by trilogy, they mean this is one season of the 3-season trilogy thing. Just an odd concept, but that exists now.
I think it's like this post-COVID world is going to be completely different. Like, we're probably not going to view things as like seasons anymore, because they're just trying to churn out this content as quick as they can to get people to keep watching. So it's like, a season may be like, you may have a 3-month break or something, and the next season's there.
Yeah, which is why I think that it started to hit me when they called the second season of Stranger Things just Stranger Things 2, which I'm sure confused tons of people as well. But so there's that. And I'll mention a couple more things going on in my life here. I finished yesterday morning, which is rare because I normally only read when I'm going to bed, but I finished Saturday morning, reading Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline.
I saw your tweet about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's, I immediately messaged, Graham, you remember Nick, who's been on the show before. I immediately messaged Nick. I was like, did you finish Ready Player 2 yet? I need to discuss this ending with someone. Because I knew, because he, like, when he finished it, he called me, not because of that, but we happened to be talking about that and the movie. And he's like, you got to check this out, blah, blah, blah. And then I finally finished the book and then finally watched the movie. And I think we did briefly discuss it when he was on. But this is brand new. I didn't even realize when I got this book for Christmas, and I did. And I'm, you and me both, Graham, we're always learning about things like years after they've come out. And, it's like, hey, have you guys heard of this group, this artist, Tom Petty? It's like stuff like that sometimes. But it's like, so I just assumed that Ready Player 2 had been out for like 5 years by the time I had finally gotten it. But apparently it just released in 2020. But so it's new, and I'm like up with the curve because Ready Player 2 did just release in 2020. What's really cool after reading it and reading through everything, and he has his acknowledgments at the end of the book, and then he actually has the acknowledgments dated, like when he wrote that, and the date is September 9th, 2020. So it's crazy to me to think that he was literally finishing Ready Player 2 as we were wrapping up the Dreamcast marathon. The most recent one, since he finished it on September 9th, or the acknowledgments anyway. But the book overall, I like the first one more, and part of that is because it did catch me off guard. I didn't know what to expect somehow. But the second one, it's interesting that he had a story to tell following the first one, because it really did feel like a definite ending of that contest that Parzival wins and everything, and spoilers, I guess, whatever. I hope you know by now, and it's a movie anyway. So the second one, though, is good. And Chris, you asked me when I previously mentioned that I was reading this if it felt like it was being written to become a movie or if he was writing it as a sequel to the book.
Yes.
There are parts that I feel like might be written with a movie adaptation in mind, but the overall theming around like these events certain big settings and big themes in the movie. Like I mentioned before, there's a whole thing about John Hughes. Like they're going to have to get the rights somehow to those things. But there's big settings and stuff that they're either going to have to do and spend so much money to get just like likeliness of people and things like that, because it's all 80s and almost 90s inspired and other things like that. So they're going to have to do something crazy or like spend a lot of money.
I think that honestly might be like with the deep fakes and stuff like that. That might be not that hard to do.
Yeah.
Today, it would just be literally like whatever the licensing fee to put someone's face in a movie is these days. I don't know what that is. That's going to be a thing. That's absolutely going to be a thing going forward, where you're going to have celebrities just license out their likeness for like a commercial or something. So I imagine that would be something they could probably do with something like that.
Especially if they want a paycheck, but they don't want to show up on set. Bingo. Which might be what they have to do. I cannot say why or who it is, because it is spoilers. It's definitely spoilers. I can't even say. If you guys want to know, like off stream, I can tell you. But
it's Keanu Reeves, isn't it?
I wish he was in this book.
I wish he in Ready Player 2.
We just watched Speed last night, so you say that, but no, like the story itself, I'll say overall, it's Ernest Cline is a good storyteller and a good narrative writer, but the book is so much stronger when it's not reference after reference after reference that is telling the story. When he's telling the story about his characters and how they're evolving and how they're adapting to this world going on around them, that's so much stronger than like, and man, it's just like what just happened is like more intense than Neo fighting Agent Smith or whatever doing whatever. It's like, dude, you don't need to give me these scenes for me to understand the intensity of the situation. Tell me how intense this situation is. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
it's a classic like thing where you're supposed to show the reader instead of telling the reader all the time. Like, this is what they're doing. Like, you want to describe it.
I feel like it's a little bit lazy to say this was more intense than the Neo fight and the Willy Wonka encore and what else ever all combined into one. I'm like, no, just tell me what's going on so that I can visualize it how I want to see it, how intense I want to see it. And I think some of that comes from like, there's a long part of this book that I did not give a shit about, and I know that you are going to really enjoy, Chris. And I can't say any more than that because it will be spoilers. But there's stuff in it, and this one feels like a more definitive ending, but I could see it going another way. And they definitely planted something in here that could totally be a spin-off if like the Ready Player One universe just takes off into this ginormous what's franchise, is pretty much the word. So there's stuff in there, and there's characters that I like, and there's characters that are like, dude, just shut up. And some of it's not written great in terms of what they say to each other, but
I'm scared that you're saying that he put something in there that like I'm gonna like, because I'm afraid they'll screw it up. I'm always afraid like they will.
I mean, I wasn't as well versed on it, so they might have. So, but there are definitely parts like I'll use it as an example. Like if you know who the Rolling Stones are, the rock band, the Rolling Stones, and like if there was a whole 3 chapters about like why they're going into the Rolling Stones world, and like if you don't care about the Rolling Stones, you're just like, let's go, let's just keep. I don't care. Yeah, okay, Mick Jagger used to dance like that. It doesn't matter. I just want to see where the story's going. There are definitely parts of that, and that also lends to like, what are they going to do in the movie version of this that's going to make this interesting for people that do not give a shit about the Rolling Stones? You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
okay, I understand Chris's concern there though, because that's the reason why I held off watching Ready Player One in the first place, because everyone knows I like video games, so all my friends are like, oh, you got to see this. It's like they get transported in this video game world, you'll love it. And I was like, so I'm glad I watched the first one because I thought it was freaking brilliant. I really enjoyed it. But I'm interested to see where this one goes. So
the movie is fine on its own. Yeah, I sort of regret watching the movie before reading the second book because I can't get the characters out of my head how they looked in the movie this book, and I very much disagreed. I understand it's a thing of mocap, and you can't just make a fat kid, a skinny kid in a movie like visually. Well, you could put him in a goddamn fat suit, but whatever. I really did not like how the movie strayed so far from, because that's the whole thing. Like, that's the basis of Sword Art Online, that anime where you are in an MMO. Like,
right.
The biggest thing I hated about the movie, and we don't need to get into this, is how the main character was this overweight, acne-infested child that went into the online world to be something totally different and like make him what he thought was attractive. But no, he looks totally fine in the real world in the movie. Like he's like the shaggy hair,
or just fine.
Just like the shaggy hair, like you could see him being the slightly awkward Peter Parker, but not 100% Peter Parker. You know,
it's fine.
And it's been a while since I saw the movie, but didn't the girl? She had something on her face which like made her unattractive.
Yeah,
she was completely fine and quite hot. You know.
Yeah, the hideous birthmark, which honestly looked like a cool battle scar. So it's not.
They should have given her like bad burns on her face.
Something. It should have been more exaggerated. I really believe that they could have put the main character like in a fat suit in the real world and then totally redo him in mocap, but I feel like that was kind of maybe lazy on their part. I feel like if there's any solid complaint about that movie, it's that it did not encapsulate the stereotypical nerd who wants to get away from how they look because they have such low self-esteem in this virtual world, because he barely looked different from one to the other.
I thought they did show some of that in the movie, though, fairly well. Because there's a scene after he leaves where he's kind of walking through the stacks and everything. You see that one very large woman like dancing, and it looks like she's like stripping in like a strip club. She's dancing in her living room and stuff. So while you're right, like they didn't do it with the central character, I did think it was kind of funny where they did show some of that, where people were living out like this completely alternate lives, and that's how it is today, of course. But it's just ramped up, like times 100 in Ready Player One. That
reminds me. There's an episode of. Do you remember Beavis and Butthead?
I don't remember specific episodes, but yeah.
there's one thing. I'm pretty sure it's Beavis and Butthead. Like they're on the phone line to like a sex hotline, and it's just like lady going, "Hey guys, how's it going? What are you wearing today?" And then like cuts to like this really overweight woman just in a chair, like with like crisps, chips all over like herself, going, "Yeah, baby." And then like her husband walks in, she's like, shut up, like really nasty voice. That's like, and they're like, kind of, it's just kind of the modern equivalent.
It's perfect impression there.
Oh dear. Oh man.
Yeah, it should. I don't know. It could have been, but that's not what the movie was about. So that's probably why they got away with it easily enough. You know. But I really think there's going to have to be licensing out the butt to fully encapsulate some theming and settings with this thing. But at the same time, it might be cool if they do something totally different. And the last thing I'll say about it is the ending of the book is something I morally disagree with. Oh. And I cannot say anything more than that for otherwise being super spoilers. But that's why I immediately messaged Nick. I'm like, we got to talk about this ending, because I do not like. There's so many moral obligations that this just doesn't click with me the right way, and it's such a happy ending that I don't think it is. So that's it's I can't say.
You don't think it's a happy ending, or you don't think it's an ending?
I don't think it's a realized conclusion.
Okay. Is there a chance it's setting up for like a third book or movie?
1,000%. They definitely could. Yeah, they could make a series out of this with how it ends. But it could also be its own conclusion. And yeah, I can't say anything more. It book's so new. I don't want to give anything away to anyone that might be listening to this too later on. Last quick things I'll shoot through. I got a couple pickups. One of them is the Night Trap documentary by the YouTube channel My Life in Gaming. They do a lot of good documentaries in general. If anyone's played the 21st anniversary, this is episode 69. If anyone's played
You should have been cast in Ready Player One.
Damn it. In Parthville, I'm going to find the egg. Fuck. Night Trap is a good game, and they did the physical edition recently. If you unlock certain things, it's bits of this documentary. Okay. But you can get it on My Life in Gaming site right now. We went down a rabbit hole because Limited Run did the 32X CD repro release of Night Trap, and also Ground Zero Texas. But we found this. I'm like waving it around and not actually showing the camera. We found this and ordered it immediately, and we watched it. It's about an hour long, I think, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun facts and things like that. You know, if you're interested in Night Trap or just a bit of gaming history.
Is it Tom Zito, right?
I think so.
Head of Digital Pictures, I believe. They get some interviews with Tom Zito in that, I believe, right?
It's basically interviewing one dude from game dev background and the creator of Night Trap, and that it probably says his name on the back, doesn't it? James Riley, the creator.
Okay, I was thinking, because I believe Zito is involved. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he's notoriously hard to get an interview with. I thought that they got an interview with him in that documentary. I was just going to say, I agree with you. That is a really good documentary. I watched it on YouTube, I think shortly after it came out. Really good work. Those guys are awesome. Yeah, definitely check that out if you're a fan. I also picked up that, not Night Trap, the other one.
Ground Zero Texas.
Ground Zero Texas. I did get that.
Nice. Yeah. I did end up getting the PS4 version of that, or ordering it, because I do want. I literally, the same thing happened again. I literally recently, like in the past year, came across that game for Sega CD, so I own the actual original, and then Limited Run does a remix of it. So that same thing happened with Corpse Killer, and here we are. But I do want to have like with FMV games, you want the best looking picture, so it will be nice to have it on PS4 just running better.
I was going to ask you guys that when you guys buy a limited run, because a lot of times they'll do what you just said. They'll release it on the original, whether it's the Saturn or the Sega CD or whatever, but then they'll release the PlayStation 4 version. If you guys are getting the physical versions or a limited edition version, which ones do you typically skew to? Do you go with the old school version, or you try to go with the PS4 Switch? Graham, what do you think? I'll ask Graham first.
I've only ever bought one limited run game thing, and that was Pan's Dragoon on the Switch. So,
all right, you answered the question.
There you go.
Deal the deal. Oh fuck! Now I messed with my camera, and now it's going stupid. I was pointing to my basically digital pictures collection in the background, because I grabbed their long boxes they did to look like the 3DO versions of Night Trap and Corpse Killer and the other thing. I don't know. I went both ways, so I can't say that I definitely go one way or definitely go the other, because I already have Night Trap on newer systems, but I wanted this 32X CD crazy PC collector's edition thing they did. But Ground Zero Texas, it'd be cool to have the CD version, but I want that better quality for the video on PS4. So
all these games are also, you could buy them digitally, right?
Yes.
Like they don't just exist on this limited run. Like Ground Zero Texas, I could go to the PS4, like the PlayStation Store, and buy it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
not right now, but you will be able to, yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of, I think, where I kind of go is like, I'd rather get the old school version, because you're right, you can buy you can experience the best quality on the new hardware, but I think I'll just keep going digital on that and just try to round out some of my old library with some of these old ones. So I got this. I think I got the either Sega CD or Saturn version of that one.
It's weird to me, because if you would ask me that for Snatcher, I would say I want the disc to put into my Sega CD for Snatcher. I don't want that. Like, that's one that I would be hard to say, give me the retro hardware, give me the old school hardware, rather than putting it into an Xbox One or something. I have no solid answer, blanket answer.
It depends. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then one other pickup I did, I'll talk about a little more. Tetris Effect, Limited Run I swear they don't sponsor us, but Limited Run.
I wish they did.
Their,
you sponsor limited run is what it is.
That's it's the other way around.
Yeah, we're talking about video game stocks at any point. And I should just buy theirs. They had a warehouse blowout sale, and Tetris Effect was on there, and so I got it. I do want to show off the little. They throw this one. They had a specific card for that whole sale, and so every release of theirs, you get a trading card with it. But I did get a 5-year anniversary trading card, which they have like the little it.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. It kind of shows up the rainbowy reflective thing, but it has a 5. It has their 5 logo they have that looks like a birthday cake almost right now. Their 5th anniversary thing. So, so that's kind of, and I'll super brief because this might like transfer over into Chris's stuff. I played the Balan Wonderworld demo, which short version of what that game is. Yuji Naka joined Square Enix recently. We knew that happened, and this is his first creation with them. Very visually inspired by Nights into Dreams.
Is it Balan Wonderland or Balan Wonderworld?
I don't know, because the demo loaded and it said Wonderworld. I was like, I thought this was called Wonderland.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's always been Wonderworld. But I agree with you guys. I thought it was Wonderland also. And so this could be one of those, what do you call it?
Mandela effect.
Yep, the Mandela effects.
Yeah, like Berenstein Bears.
Like that's what it's going to be.
You're right. I just had to go and Google it because I genuinely have always thought it was Balan Wonderland. I'm sure we've even actually put it up on the website like that.
Probably.
I'll check in preview, but
yeah. So what I was going to say, what's notable though, in addition to Yuji Naka, Naoto Oshima is also on this. Who he did the character. He's the one that created the character of Sonic.
Yeah.
So so it's kind of neat. Like 2 of the holy trinity of the original Sonic creators are back again working on this. So I think that's what adds the significance to this game going into it from a Sonic and Sega standpoint, I think
so. And I've been talking too long. I apologize, but all I'll say about the demo is we have a preview coming up on the website megavisionsmag.com, but I will probably get this game, but I think it appeals to me in a different way that it's getting a lot of hate because I think people thought it was going to just be a straight up Nights in a Dream sequel, and to which I say that's not what any of the gameplay looked like. The character design is that. Where have you been? Play the game. Maybe some people are even speculating it's purposely a bad demo. I won't get into that, but I enjoyed what I played. I feel like I need to experience more of it to fully understand what their grasp is of their play style. And I saw the complaint I have is you can't always jump, and it's a platforming game, and that sort of drives me nuts because they're trying to put emphasis on the different costumes you can get into to use different abilities, but sometimes those inhibit you. They don't allow you to jump because you have to use another power that the costume has, and I think that is dumb as hell for a platformer. Oh,
I see. That sounds.
Are you saying some costumes don't allow you to jump?
Right.
Okay. So you have to alternate between one that can, and then quickly alternate to one that cannot to use a different power.
So I haven't played it, so I can't really speak to that. But at the same time, what you've just described there doesn't sound that bad to me. It makes it sound like a puzzle adventure platformer game, which I've played games similar in the past, which
Zelda, you can't jump by default.
Yeah, or like, for example, the Lost Vikings. I don't know if you've ever played that. Like different ones with different powers, and some of them could jump, some couldn't do anything, some could fight, some couldn't fight. I'm interested
how it's integrated into the game. Like, how do you show that ability or lack thereof, or how's it integrated into the experience for the player? And if it's done well, then it works well and it's awesome. But if it's cumbersome and it inhibits the gameplay, then that's a problem. And I haven't played enough necessarily to speak to that, Scotty, but I could see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I finished the demo. Did you finish the demo, Chris, then?
I haven't yet compleed it all the way through.
Okay. Then I guess I'll talk a little bit more about it, but since we have a preview, I don't want to say everything about it. I will say that it, and what you both mean by that, I know exactly what you mean by that, because it'll be a lot of like, if you haven't played a 3D Zelda game for years and you go back to like Ocarina of Time and you start in a dungeon, and then you hit a button, you're like, why can't I jump? And then you're like, oh yeah, I can't jump in this game. But then you start the game and like 20 minutes in, you forget about the fact that you cannot jump because it's catered around doing different things where you roll and instead of falling down, you roll to leap off a platform to another platform. Like the game is built well around that. I don't feel like this game is built well around that.
Okay.
It's not as cohesive, I feel.
Right. Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but straight up, when you start in the hub world, it feels like you are in a Knights game. Like you are either Claris or Elliot, like about to hop into the I forget what that gazebo is called in Nights into Dreams, where you morph with Knights and then
I love it. Gazebo. Let's call it that.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. The Nightopian Gazebo, the Sonic Team Gazebo.
That's where they go to smoke after it's just like,
yeah.
Like, put that in the game, and that's what we'll do.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's like that area. Like it feels like it reminded me the most of that mode that I mentioned to you, Graham, that you rightfully had no idea existed in Knight's Journey of Dreams, where you had the little artificial life Nightopian guys. Like it felt like that because it's very empty at first. It's just this grass field with a little bit of bumps and ridges and flowers and these little. You guys know the marshmallow peeps, the chickens, the sugar-covered marshmallow chicks. These little creatures follow you around, and they're just like flapping their little wings and like basically saying, "Feed me, Seymour." But you, when you're in the main game, they also are following you around. They serve no purpose. Or no, I take that back. They do sometimes bring you items in the main game, which is interesting.
You pick them up, and then you take them to the ledge. And you throw them off.
You can do that.
Oh, I did that. That's all I do with them. I just throw them off. Every time they come around, throw them off the cliff.
Chris is like, what are these things? Go away.
Yeah. I don't think I actually threw one off the ledge to see what would happen, but you can. The only interaction you have with them in that hub world is you pick them up and stare at them. You can't even shake them like in Sonic Adventure, but you just throw them aside and you can feed them these little crystals you collect, and they eat and grow bigger, and there are literally suddenly eggs appear and they hatch out of those eggs. So it is the Chow Garden.
That is the Chow Garden.
So it's just it's nuts in that, like, it was weird. Like for a split second, I thought I was playing a different game that was not this game because of how familiar with that was with Chow Gardens and the Nightopians and stuff. But the different abilities you use, like there's you switch between the costumes to use abilities to get through the levels. Like there's one that. And and that was the thing I was legitimately concerned about watching the video from like whatever E3 was or whenever we saw this debut, was like, why do you need costumes if you should probably just have these abilities mapped to different buttons and just play as one character? And it's to fit the theming of the levels. There's no explanation to what's going on in the story, and I kind of love that because that's how Knights was presented to me, because I, as a kid, just skipped through cutscenes and just play the game anyway.
My brother would do that, but he would do it in RPGs also. So in all the text, he would skip over, like, how do you know what you're doing? And this is 8-bit and 60-bit RPGs where it's already hard enough when you talk to everyone. And he would still beat these games. Like, how do you do this? He would have no idea what even happened in the entire game. He just fucking played the battle.
Right.
God.
Yeah, that's annoying. I enjoyed it overall, and I don't think it deserves the hate that it has, but I do see how there are some mechanically poorly chosen aspects with the suits and the costumes, because there is really, you should just be able to jump and like maybe shoot a fireball, which is the costume that prevents you from jumping. Instead of doing that, you charge up a fireball shot to destroy certain things that you can just jump on to defeat the enemies anyway. So it's a little confusing, and I want to see how the game fleshes that out, because it feels unnecessarily restrictive in that aspect to not let you jump in a platformer.
Yeah.
One aspect that I saw that people were criticizing as well, and I don't know if this is something that they put out there ahead of time, but I certainly didn't expect it, but it seemed like when you're not controlling the kids, what's the main character? Is it Balan?
I think his name is Balan. He's the circus master.
You really don't get it full control over him. And I think some people were expecting some sort of Knight aspect, some sort of gameplay that was reminiscent. And I think that, based off the look of the game, made people think this is going to be maybe a spiritual successor or have something to do with that. So that's what they were expecting. And then when they went in and it was not that, And even when you do control Balan, all it is kind of like a QTE type thing.
Control him. Yeah.
It's basically a cutscene that you're just pressing a couple buttons. And I think that aspect is really what people are kind of upset about, because it does seem like when you look at like the Knights, I don't want to keep saying going back to Knights, but that's the easy parallel to keep drawing to. But there's that whimsical, awesome gameplay feel that you get when you're able to control Knights. And I think that it's missing a little bit of that in this game. And it's just kind of a shame that if I feel like Knights is going to overshadow this game in the minds of people. And they're like, why is it this game Knights? This game should have been Knights. And it's not. And I don't like that. So I want to finish it. I hope I can go back, and I am going to buy the game. I don't think I'm going to like it, but I want to play it. I want to play it and just kind of experience it, because I'm interested to see what Yuji Naka and Naoto Shima are kind of thinking, what they're wanting to do with this game, because I don't really know what the fuck what they're doing with it. So I want to play through it and kind of get through and just see what it's about. It's an interesting game to me. But I just don't know if it's a good game.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the more I play to the levels, the more it's like, I want to explore this world. Like, this is so aesthetically pleasing. I want to walk around and just get lost in it. But it didn't feel like I could do that. And it does, like, the way the world kind of displays itself and presents itself is it's sort of like Animal Crossing, the newest one, how you feel like it's on like a tube and you're rotating it as you walk into the background, and it kind of sort of.
Yes, that's something else I wanted to talk about. That is a really cool.
What would you call that?
It looks like it's almost built coming up from the ground in a way, like as you're. Yeah. And I don't know if it's a way to conserve resources or what, but it's cool.
In Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when they drive into the Toon World, how things like propel themselves up, like as if you're rolling this musical box or something, like rotating this musical box, and
really
things are like
growing. And I assume it's probably the same thing as like fog or something, and like in the distance you'll see buildings and they're like 4 polygons, and then it's like the closer you get, it adds detail. I don't know if it's something like that or what, but it's a neat technique in any respect. I saw that and I noticed it. I was like, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that aspect or that style in a game before. I thought that was kind of cool.
It's almost a forced perspective thing, because they are forcing you to look at certain parts of the background. I think it was making me a little bit nauseous, though. I think that I would not watch what was coming into the foreground, and I was watching, I would look at something else, and then I'd look back, and it would like mess with me a little bit, that I would get a little nauseous. So I'm not sure if that was the game or not, or if I'm getting too old. I don't know. But overall, I want to see more. I want to see the other levels more than anything, because I love the aesthetic of this game. Like, I actually think I like the antagonist's character design more than the protagonist, Balan. Like what would be, people are probably calling the Riala to Balan. And yeah, I think the biggest shortcoming is probably those Balan moments where you get these trophies and then you teleport into this QuickTime thing that really looks like you're about to fly through an area as Balan, but instead it's like he's about to do a dab, so you have to hit the A button when his silhouette comes up and lines up to do that dab, and then he does like a tornado kick against the thing. It's like, why did I even do this? I didn't even feel like I was playing a game for a second there. This is weird, but
okay.
I don't know. Balan Wonderworld. It's not Knights. That's the reviews out there.
That's what it should say. It's not Knights. I've downloaded this on both my Xboxes. I just haven't played it yet. I
heard it plays like trash on the Switch, so don't play it.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm not going to download it on the Switch.
I was playing it on a base PS4, so I was also playing Cloudpunk on that base PS4, so I wonder if that had anything to do with anything, but base PS4 life, baby. That's everything I've done forever, though.
Okay. I'm interested. I'm going to check it out, that game.
Yeah.
Well, let's check out the demo hopefully this week and then get back to you guys next week.
Yeah, the game's out in March pretty soon, I think.
A couple of months away then. Yeah. Well, so Chris, moving on. What have you been up to, buddy?
So I have some bad news. You guys know how I fixed my Neo Geo MVS a few months back? So if you guys don't remember, it just stopped powering on. Like there was like a storm that came through, and we lost power. And for whatever reason, it just once the power came back on, didn't come back. The power wouldn't boot up, or the system at all. And so I just assumed it was a short or something. Went and took it in to this place like North Jersey, and they fixed it, and all was well. And then just one day I turned it on, and it wouldn't turn on. I'm like, God dang it! And looking in the back, it looks like there might be like a loose connection in one of the cables, the power cables or something. Because if you kind of finagle with the cord a little bit, you can hear it kind of coming on. And so I'm going to have to pull it all open again and look at what's going on there. So I'm not really happy with that.
Okay.
I thought you had a good look at it.
I did. They fixed it. They put a whole new because before it looked like it had the original power cable. You know those old arcade ones that have like frayed, like look like fiber on it and shit, and just like look like you're going to plug it into some from BioShock or something. You know, like this giant. It had one of those on it. They replaced the power cable and everything with like a more current one, and it's just still doing it. So I'm going to have to figure. I know that it's under warranty for a certain amount of time, like their work and stuff. So I have to look into that and figure out what's going on. But it sucks because I just bought I bought a new Neo Geo game. It was NAM, I think was at 76, I believe. Have you guys ever played that?
Nope.
No.
It's really cool. You're basically a little guy in the foreground of the screen. So you're basically running back and forth. And there's several layers in between the background. There's like a middle and a background layer where enemies will come in and like to shoot at you. You could throw grenades. So you're basically just running back and forth.
Okay.
You've definitely played games like it before, and I know it's been re-released on other platforms. But I have been starting to collect some MVS games. So that was like outside of my initial one. I started getting that one. I just want to get some games that I really want to be able to play on that MVS and that aren't available on like the 161 and 1 carts and things like that. And I know I'm going to have to pay a little bit of money for them, but it's only going to be a few games that I really, really want. Case in point, Windjammers is one I know I'm going to pay to get. And it's not available on anything like that. But I think playing it on real hardware is the way to go for a game like Windjammers.
Nice.
It's not going for crazy amounts like I thought it would. I saw one, and this is relatively speaking, right? We're talking about retro games here, but on eBay, one went for like $230 the other day for cart only, which, you know, we're still talking about buying, you know, limited editions of like Shenmue 3 for $100 and things like that. So we're talking about, that's how I try to at least like kind of
justify,
make it logically, justify. Thank you. Justify in my head. I'm like, I could go out and buy this brand new game that I'm probably gonna suck or it's gonna lose value, or I could buy this other game that's, you know, double the price, but I know it's gonna hold the value for years down the road. At least that's how I justify it in my head. I'm not just completely blowing money. So yes, so my plan here in the next few weeks, try to figure out what's going on with the MVS. Get that fixed, get Windjammers, and start training for the next MagFest.
Hell yeah!
Because that's my jam. I want to enter in the Windjammers tournament at the next MagFest because I suck at Windjammers. I will be completely honest, not good at Windjammers, but I want to get good and I want to play. I like it. It's a fun game.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a hard game to master, and it's just fun to watch too. I'm trying to. I found the MVS for $80 on eBay, so I'm trying to get this link for you. Yep, I'm trying to get the link for you. Oh, don't worry.
Wow. But yeah, I don't even want to get like high. I don't want to get to the point where I have no illusions of grandeur, I should say, that I'm going to be like super good. I just want to be able to be good enough where I can be competitive against you guys and go into like MagFest and not just completely get my ass kicked, is what I'm saying.
I was out in the first round, baby.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to happen no matter what. I'll definitely be kicked out. But anyway, more to come on my MVS. I hope it's something simple. Hopefully it's just like a loose connection I could just secure and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But outside of that piece of hardware, I'm looking to get some more hardware for my game closet, my little Harry Potter closet that I have. Right?
Don't even beat around the bush. I'm buying things to put in the closet.
Or buying stuff that is eventually going to go in my like my storage unit.
But
is essentially what's
eventually the mega barn will be your closet. So
the mega barn is happening. We actually have an appointment with some contractors that would be coming out here, hopefully in the next week or so, to take a look. And so more to come on the mega barn. But I'm trying to get some. I'm looking at all these new handheld systems, and when I say handheld systems, I'm not talking about like the Switch or the Vita or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, or one of those. There's all these like newer like handheld systems that run on Android, that run on Linux, that are their own proprietary, systems. And they look awesome. The hardware and stuff looks really good. And so I want to get one because I want to be able to, like the Switch, I'm really enjoying like before bed, laying down and playing the Switch before bed. Maybe get like 20, 30 minutes in and just put it on my nightstand and just going to sleep. I really enjoy that. And sometimes that's the only bit of gaming I get in at all in the day.
Yeah.
And so I figure like if I could get one of those like little units and throw in a bunch of old retro games that I want to play, a lot of probably retro RPGs is what I'm looking for, like 8 and 16-bit stuff, and play it on there, that would be like a little perfect system. Or if I just take it with me somewhere on a trip, I could just have it and I have all that stuff. And so there's 3 or 4 main handhelds that I'm looking at that look like these are kind of what's out there on the market right now. If you want one of these are kind of the ones you want to get. So there's one called the Retroid Pocket 2. Then you have the RG351P. It gets a little confusing. So then there's the RG350M. So don't confuse that with the RG351P because they're kind of the same, but they're different. They're not the exact same. Okay. And even the OS or the front end UI looks completely different between those two. And then there's also the Evercade, which are you guys familiar with the Evercade at all?
I nearly bought the Evercade, but then I decided against it.
You know about the Evercade?
$60-$70. They come with their actual own physical cartridges that plug in. And you buy them and they're usually like bundled. So they come with like 8 to 12 games. They have like an Atari, a Jalico.
Yeah, they seem more official and legit to me. Like they actually, Atari has basically given them the rights to this cartridge of games.
They're officially licensed cartridges.
Yeah.
I do know there's a bundle for the Evercade that is Tanglewood and Xenocrisis.
Yes.
Yeah, both on a cartridge. Yeah,
that was I was watching videos, and that was one of the ones that actually it's like, oh man, if I get this, I have to get that one. But they also have like an Atari Lynx release that has all these Atari Lynx games on it, and that makes me really want to get it too. But then looking at the other one, so the Retroid Pocket runs on Android, and I think the RG351 and the 350M are Linux based. What I'm finding out is none of these are like perfect, and the Retroid Pocket 2 is the most powerful of them. And then I think it's the 351P, then the 350M, and then I believe the Evercade is kind of its own thing, really. Because all these other ones will play emulation, they'll play ROMs and all that. So you could play like Game Boy, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PlayStation, PSP. But once you start getting into N64, PlayStation, Dreamcast, even some PSP sometimes, or Vita, these emulators don't run that well. And so what I'm finding out is like certain emulators in certain games will run better on one device than the other. Okay. And so it doesn't look like there's just one. Because you could say just like, oh, the Retroid Pocket 2, that's the most, that has like a 1 gig of RAM, it has the most space. It's like the best screen and stuff, but it still doesn't do stuff that the other ones do.
Right.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to go through and find the one that's like right for me. And Oh, I'm just looking at the chat, so see some fun's going on in there.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, but anyway, I'm trying to figure out what's going on and kind of come up to a decision, but I don't know, man. Like I had the Retroid Pocket 2 in my cart, going through the process of like buying it, and then I was like, I don't know, because the cool thing about I think it's the 350M. It is just very like customer friendly. Basically, it has a custom UI that when you boot it up, you basically have all the screens for each emulator. So it'll be like GBA, Super Nintendo, and stuff. You just cycle through them really quickly. You press, the select button, and then you come up with all of the games. And each game will have like a little video running of the game, and it's actually really cool the way it does it. And then I think from there, I believe it's running RetroArch in the background, but the front end is a different thing, and it looks really, really good. And so I think like if you're looking to get something, but you don't want to deal with like going in and fiddling with emulators and other crap, you just want something just to play. I think the 350M might be a really great system for that. But if you're wanting something that has more compatibility, that they can play more games and stuff, I think the Retroid Pocket 2 or the 351P might be the way to go. So it's crazy. I know it sounds so confusing. I wish we had like video that we could be showing, the viewers right now, but it gets a little confusing. I know. I'm trying to figure it out myself. And this is a journey that I've been going on all week, and I have not yet been able to come to it. So I would love to hear from, people listening or what to like, let me know what you think. What if you've played any of these handheld systems, I would definitely like to know. I think right now I'm leaning towards the Retroid Pocket 2. But I don't know, man.
Question from the audience.
Yeah.
The Evercade I know is cartridges, right? Like actual physical cartridges. Are any of these other things, do they have physical software?
No, so you're just basically running ROMs and stuff. Now, here's the thing that's cool. So the Retroid Pocket 2, you can have like it has a dual boot system. So you can run Android. But it also has like I think this other OS called like the Retroid or something like that, and you run that, and I think that gives you access to their version of their like store that you can get. You can have access, so and you can like download games wirelessly from the store. But the best thing is apparently like they just have all of the games for all of the systems up there, and you can just download them straight to your handheld system right there. So if you want to journey down maybe something that's like the gray area of the legality side of this, you can do that with the Retroid Pocket 2.
Yeah, that very much sounds like it.
It's very easy to do that, it seems like.
Okay, interesting. My solution is just wait for Polymega to eventually do a handheld. Sure, that'll happen real quick.
It's 15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I really want to get one of these things. But I'm going to buy the Evercade. I will say that. I'm going to buy the Evercade because I want to support what they're doing, and that Lynx thing is too hot to pass up. I know that's not going to be my main thing, though. My main handheld is one of these other three, I think, that I have to get.
Okay, I just had a quick look. Personally, I think the, what's it called? The RG351M, just from a quick look, looks like the best one for me. But
the 351, is it M or P?
Oh, it says M on their website. Ooh.
Oh, I saw the 350M. Is there 351P?
There's 351M.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, it's confusing. So
they've got loads on there.
Microsoft.
Oh my god. They've got like the RG350M, RG280V, RG351P, RG350P, RG351M.
If you are someone who the colors and the aesthetic of a system is important to you, I would say look at the Retroid Pocket 2 because they actually have a lot of different configurations that make them look like old, like Nintendo systems and Sega systems and things like that. A lot of them are sold out, but you could get one that looks like a GBA Advance, the purple and white.
Yeah.
You can get something that looks like that. some of them are kind of cool. It's just it's weird. I don't think that there's just one system that's like this is it. It's all depending on what you want to use it for. Is like which system that I think is going to be dependent on which one might be best for you.
This
I
is
think Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say one thing that's just randomly putting me off the what's it called, the Retroid one, is their marketing material and how bad the English is on it. Like net function play supports only 2 players simultaneously.
Yeah, these are Chinese systems, so these keep that in mind.
Although it's funny, it's a Chinese system, but their address is in France. So their address is 37 Rue de Mathurins, Paris, France.
Oh, the Retroid? I think the Retroid.
It says at the bottom that's where their address is. But
yeah, don't look it up. It's probably a nail salon that's a front for the real business.
Yeah. I don't know why I found that slightly weird and off-putting the way they were like, yeah.
The last thing, I think this might actually sway you, Graham. This could be the one other big difference between the Retroid Pocket 2 and the 350 line. We'll just call it that. The other ones is the other ones have true double analog sticks. Both analog sticks are true analog sticks. With the Retroid Pocket 2, the left one is an analog stick, but the right one is more. If you remember the PSP, that like nub, the analog thing that it had, where it just moved. It wasn't like analog. It didn't like move on like an axis necessarily. It just kind of. That's kind of what this thing is. It's not a true analog. It's like an 8-way. Yeah. It's like Scotty showing the PSP nub thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Okay.
And so if that is a deal breaker,
why would that sell it for me? Like,
I'm saying it could be a deal breaker. Some people don't like that. Some people want dual true analog, not that. And so I'm saying that could be something that sways your opinion even more, or one way or the other. So
I remember seeing one of these at a convention forever ago that was clearly someone used a bunch of PSP casings and it had like Mario running on it. And I'm just looking at this. I'm like, this is not, how are you selling this? Like, I feel like I should call the police.
And there's several other ones that are out there, but looking through, because I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about it too. There's lots of good YouTube content out there for these ones in particular. It looks like there's some other ones, but these are kind of like the main ones that everyone's really talking about right now. So more to come on the next podcast. Hopefully I'll have some and I can show you guys next time. We'll see. But I do have a couple pickups real quick I want to show you guys. I got a Turrican Flashback on the Switch.
Yeah.
Holy cow, guys. I've been sleeping on this franchise, I think, forever. I've never really played the Turrican series. I've always heard it spoken about in really high regard, but I've never actually watched it myself, or played it, I should say. Are you guys familiar with these games at all?
We always play Gunlord during the Dreamcast Marathon now, an indie game that is straight up Turrican.
That's awesome. I knew of Gunlord, but I never really played it a lot either. So, Graham.
Yeah. I want to show the cover.
So I only know Turrican by name. I don't actually really know the game or anything like that.
That's so weird because we talked about that on the podcast too. Oh, that Gunlord.
Do you guys remember?
Gunlord looks awesome.
We played it when you guys were here.
That game's fun. Tough, fun.
I could have sworn that this was like something that you liked when you were a kid for some reason, because there was a
me?
There's a Mega Turrican released on the Mega Drive back in the day. Like I don't know. Like I thought you had talked about this before. Like it was a game that you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
No,
so
Graham sounds offended that you would think that about him.
Apparently,
I'd say, sir. You take that back.
Game. It comes with Turrican 1, Mega Turrican, Turrican 2, and there's another Turrican.
What? It went Turrican, Mega Turrican, Turrican 2?
Oh, I don't know if that's the order in which they were released. Oh, okay. I'm just running down, like, I'm basically just looking at this. I'm looking at the...
Oh, so it's a collection of them.
It's a collection. There's 4 games on it that were released, going back from like Super Nintendo and on up. Antichrist just posted a review on the website this past week.
Sure did.
He was having some issues with the game, though. He said that it kept crashing on him like every about half hour. No matter what stage he was in. It didn't seem to appear that there was any sort of bug that was triggering it consistently. It was just kind of all, no matter what. And we reached out to the publisher and asked them if there was some issues like that going on. They said they hadn't reported any or had been reported any issues. And so I've been playing this and I haven't had any issues. So I think it might be related to his Switch or something going on with his system. And so I mainly got it just to validate the issues that he was going or having with the game. So it looks like everything's okay. They did issue a day one patch for the game, and so it looks good. For $30 for 4 Turkin games, I think it's a good deal. He mentioned, I guess the one that is worth a lot is it Super Turkin 2, I believe?
Yeah, because I think, didn't that get released on the analog SG or something? It was a pack-in game. I know a Turkin game did get released on that. Analog.
They had to change the name to it or something, but yeah. But I guess Super Turkin 2 is one it's worth a crap ton of money. Looking at Antichris's review and everything, and that he was kind of bummed out that game wasn't included on this one. He was saying that if it were, it would make it worth the value for the $30. It would be worth a lot more than that. So. I'm really enjoying the game, though. It does feel like if you've never played it, it feels like it's definitely Metroid-esque in terms of just the way it looks and kind of plays. Not necessarily that it's based on Metroid or anything like that. I'm just trying to give people who aren't familiar with it a kind of an idea. But you can do it's a kind of a run and gun platformer, but there's a lot more that you can do with it. You can like morph into this spiky ball and bounce around and stuff. And I'm still having to remind myself that you can use all these other abilities because I've been playing it kind of strictly as a kind of a run and gun action game. And I'm finding out that you can't do that with this game. Like you need to use all of the abilities that you have at your disposal. And so I'm enjoying the game. For $30, I think it's a really cool little collection. There's a lot of options to go into the menus, lots of cheats that are unlocked right away that they tell you how to do it. And so it seems to be a pretty good package. They got a lot of the original dudes, a lot of the original developers from Factor 5 back to help kind of create this. So they were definitely involved in it. And yeah, so I think this was who did this? It wasn't, there was not limited run, but there's another one of those. Strictly limited or something like that. Yeah, I think that's where I got that one from. The other pickup, I'll just talk about this real quick. It was Astral Chain on the Switch. Yeah. This is one that I just never picked up, but it seems to be getting harder and harder to get these days.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Fuck.
And this is going to be one of those games where if I didn't pick it up and it's $300 or $400 down the road, I don't know if that's what's going to happen. But I saw that it's starting to get a little bit harder to find. And then on Twitter, I saw like Best Buy dropped it down to like $40. It popped up on Best Buy, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get it, and I'll have it. And when I need to play it, I'll have it. But it's been on my to-do list for a long time, and I just haven't been able to get to it. Have you guys played it at all before?
The only thing I know about that game is at the last live Dreamcast Marathon where we were all together. Was it Corey had bought it and he was just playing it? Or it wasn't Corey?
Brett.
Who was? It was Brett.
We convinced Brett to get a whole fucking Switch in like 3 games when we were at Warp Zone.
Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, he had it. He was loving it.
He regretted that afterwards too.
No, he was playing a lot of this game. He was playing a lot after you guys left. He was still at my house a couple days later, just due to his flight schedule and stuff. But he was playing a lot of Astral Chain. It's very much got that platinum style and feel. I think it's a Switch exclusive, which is why I keep forgetting about it. So I probably should grab it just because I love all things platinum games too.
And it's just one of those things that seems like this could easily be one of those that just had a lower print run, and you'd never know until it's just not in stores anymore. And people are like, "Oh, you remember that game? That's a good game." And then everyone wants to go out and buy it, and then all of a sudden that's how you get a $500 Switch game.
Yeah.
Stupid. I hate this. Is what I hate about it.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. But
I'm double checking now, and it is only on Nintendo Switch. So
okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's been my week. So
nice. Cool. I'll try and run through my stuff relatively quickly. So one thing I wanted to just say is, what the smeg is up with Mario Kart 8 online play and how it basically takes control of the game at points. I don't know if you guys played online much with Mario Kart 8. So
I have in the past. It's been a while.
Okay, so I was playing with Kate's sister because she got a Switch for Christmas, and one of the only online games on the Switch basically is Mario Kart 8. So yeah, we were sort of been playing. So I had Kate with me, and she was playing. Her sister was over there, and yeah, there were like quite a few courses which I knew quite well. I have to be honest, I haven't played Mario Kart. Mario Kart is probably one of the Mario Karts I've played the least, but I do enjoy it. But I play anyway. Going along some of the tracks, sometimes you can clearly see a different route, or there's a shortcut somewhere. And occasionally you'll be driving along and you'll try to go the route, like either take the shortcut or where the road splits, and the game will just suddenly take control and move you. Go, no, you don't want to go that way. Like you see a bit where the game has two paths like that, and someone will be going up the top path, and you try to go and follow them. So
are you sure you don't have any of the options on to the assist?
So Scotty's showing steering assist. Maybe
there's literally a steering assist in the game. It says here on IGN, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe adds 2 additional control features in addition to the tilt controls: smart steering and auto acceleration. When enabled, these assists help guide the player's kart and avoid falling off the tracks. This is a great feature for beginning players and kids. However, it can also prevent you from taking shortcuts.
Wow.
Wait,
okay.
You didn't know that?
I had no idea.
You didn't know?
Kate and I were both.
Sorry.
Kate and I were both playing, and she was like, "It's not letting me go this way. It's not letting me go this way." I'm like, "Are you sure?" And then I was driving along, and I tried to take a couple of shortcuts. It's like, "Whoa, that's weird." But it's not just shortcuts. Sometimes it stops you picking up boxes. I was literally just trying to pick up a box on the track. I was steering towards it, and suddenly just at the last second, it sort of pushed me away. I'm like,
it's
why?
definitely the steering assist. All you do is just you press start, and it's very easy to take off.
I will turn it off. That was driving me nuts.
And once you turn it off, but you have to do it in the game. So once a race starts, you press start, and then you turn it off. And then it should be set after that. You don't have to do it for each race.
Okay, because online you can't do that in online. So I pressed start during one of the races, and it just came up with quit race or exit or something, and didn't have anything to adjust controls. So in the online games you can't.
You may have to adjust it in an offline game to set universal settings.
But when I play single player, it doesn't do that.
I don't know.
So that's why I was like, what's going on?
So it only does it when you're playing online.
I guess you guys didn't hear Rachel just yell, did you?
No.
Okay,
it's not picking her up then. A dog died in the movie she's watching.
Oh, that's not good.
I was like, is everything okay?
Oh God. And it's nuts because basically at one point I was trying to adjust something on my controller, so I literally wasn't even playing the game, wasn't racing. I looking at my controller trying to fix something. The race had started. Kate's sister was in the lead. Kate was somewhere in the middle of the pack. I looked up. I was in 4th place, and I wasn't even controlling the game. I was just like, what the fuck? And I had loads of pickups. They're like, how am I ahead of you? And I'm not even playing. And then when I picked up and started playing and started racing, I got to 2nd. And then suddenly everything hit me, and I was back to 8th or something. It's for fuck's sake, God damn it. It's just so, it's tilted too unfairly, I think, that game. Anyway, I was just
there's rubber banding in it. Yeah.
I know it's a thing in Mario Kart. It's been like that since Mario Kart 64. It's just one of those things they have. They help the people who are behind. But it's to the point that if you're behind and not even playing, you can be 4th. Literally, I wasn't even controlling the game. That's how nuts it was.
I do remember hearing about that now, because some people on podcasts I was listening to, they had their very young kids playing, and they could feel like they were playing the game, which we technically did have a controller used for that character, but they were barely actually racing. So yeah, that is the thing. You're not going crazy.
I mean, I like having that option because it made when that game came out, Odin he's 8 now. He, I don't know, was maybe 3 or 4 when we were playing the game. It allowed him having that steering assist and stuff. It allowed him to be able to play and be competitive against his, me and his siblings. And he didn't get so frustrated that he just wanted to stop playing, because that's what he would do. And so I think it's an awesome thing that Nintendo did, but for sure, like, you have to make sure you make it easy to turn off.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, okay, I had no idea this was even a thing in the multiplayer modes, or like, as I say, my single player mode doesn't seem to do that at all. But yeah, I also just think the unfairness of how well they treat the people at the back. Like, I know it helps for more competition. I wish there was an option to like reduce that or turn it off completely, because all of us were just getting frustrated, man. Like, there's one point where I had 3 blue shells, one after the other. Like, when I say one after the other, I mean literally, I got hit by a blue shell. I was still in first. 2 seconds later, I got hit by another blue shell. I was like, for fuck's sake. And then someone overtook me. I managed to catch up to them, and they got hit by another blue shell. That was all in the space of 15 seconds. I was just like,
welcome to Mario Kart.
How? Like, that's just so...
Yeah.
And then I came third in the race, and I was just like, this is bullshit. This is such bullshit.
You know what game doesn't have that problem? Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform.
As I was playing today, I was just like, literally, I wish I was playing Sonic and Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform. Like, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, this is not good. Man. Anyway, so that's just one thing I just wanted to complain about today, because bloody hell, that's annoying. Other things, I started reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, about 30 years after it was released.
I thought that like all English young kids are required to read that by the time they're 8 or something.
Yeah, and they moved on to Harry Potter. So so the weird thing is, when I was a child, my brother watched there was a TV show in the UK, which was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I remember watching it going, this is stupid. But I think I was too young. I just didn't understand it. Didn't find it funny and stuff. I then heard some of the radio show, which sounded interesting to me. This was a few years later. And then I think I tried to start reading the book, and I only got to like chapter 2 or something and gave up, because I hated reading as a kid. And then I saw the movie that was like back in like 2001 or whatever, starring the Hobbit guy. I've just got his name. Oh God. Martin Freeman. Yes. Oh. So yeah. Sorry, Martin Freeman. And I enjoyed that movie, but everyone who was a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy went, that was terrible. So I was like, oh. But I've started reading it for book club at work. So yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I've actually on to chapter 12 now, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's funny, enjoying the humor, and enjoying the story so far. So yeah, I'll give an update.
I will say this, never read the book, loved the movie though. I will. So I'm sure a lot of English people are mad at me now, but that goes to say for every book, every group of people, like every Stephen King reader, or Stephen King's a bad example because all his movies suck, but like any writer who has a devoted following that then gets their stuff made into a movie, they're always going to have detractors and things like that hate on the movie because it wasn't exactly like the book or whatever else, but. I thought they did a wonderful job with the movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. But I'll see how good the book is. Like, so far, I'm enjoying them equally as well as each other, I guess.
Oh, that's cool. I'm interested to hear what you think about that.
I don't know anything about either of those except 42, because that's the best joke in the world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. And otherwise, I on Game Pass, I picked up Kona. I think it's called, how you pronounce it, Kona or Connor on the Xbox. On our Xbox. It's like a first person. I've got Corona. That's right. Kona. It's a first person kind. It's not a first person shooter, but it's a first person like puzzle adventure game, I guess. And thing is, it's like set in the 70s or something, and you're like a detective, and you're basically driving along. It's like completely a snowy part of America, and you arrive in this town, like a village area, I guess, and there's been a murder, there's someone you're meant to meet and they've been murdered, but there's no one around and stuff like that. It's all very mysterious. I'm still quite early on in the game. The thing I love about it so far, though, is there's a narrator, the narrator's voice, he comes over sometimes, like talks about stuff that's happening, and it's just so awesome. Like, his voice is so beautifully mellow and calm and awesome. It really draws you in. The problem is, and I don't know if it's like something to do with the perspective or the motion in the game. It gives me nausea. Like I get motion sickness really badly from playing this game. Like I was playing the other day, I played for like half an hour, and I was just lying there going, oh, like, I was just slowly like sinking into my chair going, oh no. And then Kate looked at me and was like, you've gone pale white. I'm like, yeah, I do not feel good. I like had to like basically go and stand outside for a few minutes to like get some air and stuff. Like, and yeah, it was the game.
You just got coded, boy.
Yeah. But it's quite an interesting game so far. I really want to keep playing, but I'm gonna have to see how. But it's like got survival elements to it. Like if you're out in the snow for too long, like too far away from heat, it starts to affect your brain, your mental ability, and your heat. So you have to go warm up and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of interesting so far because it's like you're in the middle of nowhere basically, but there are houses and stuff, and you just go try and work out what's happened. Anyway, also just another. It's really awesome. Yeah, I have to give you more information when I played a bit more because
I'm a fan of those are what people call walking simulators a lot, like Gone Home. Like there's not really, you're basically just experiencing the story as you walk around. It sounds like it's maybe that idea.
Yeah, possibly. Because so far, actually, I think there might be an attack action because I actually picked up a crowbar and you can swing it. Okay. But I haven't found any enemies yet or anything, so I don't know if you can fight things. There was one point I saw some wolves, but they just ran off, and it made a comment about the wolves, like the narrator. I was like, okay. But it's kind of cool. You can actually see the tracks of animals and yourself, like you can see footprints. So like if you're walking along, you see footprints somewhere. You're like, oh, someone's been here.
The description here that I found on Wikipedia is centers around Carl Fauberk, a private investigator who arrives in a snowy town in Nord du Quebec, only to find the place deserted and something that's lurking around.
Yeah. I haven't found the thing that's lurking around yet, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'll try and give you guys an update on that. Otherwise, and I put it in the notes here, Yakuza fucking Remastered is now available on Xbox and PC. Smeg, yeah. So I got really excited when that just popped up on my Xbox the other day. I was like, and suddenly I saw all the Yakuza games lined up beautifully. And I was just like, oh, I'm getting these. And there's an option for Yakuza Remastered. You just press that and it downloads all of them. So I was just like, hell yeah. So yeah, that's like Yakuza 3, 4, 5. I think 6 isn't on there.
Oh, it's okay, right. It's a set of 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Xbox actually got Yakuza Kiwami 2, Yakuza 0 not that long ago, like last year or the year before, whatever. And yeah, so now they've added on the other ones, which is really exciting for me. So yeah,
is there no physical version for the Xbox?
I don't know if they might release a physical version as well.
6 was the first. Wait,
I was looking and I couldn't find one because there's the PS4 version has a physical release for this, but I was looking on GameStop and I didn't see the Xbox version because I was going to get it for the Xbox.
I don't know. I just downloaded the because it's on Game Pass. You can just download it for free on air quotes. But yeah, I may actually buy it as well just to support Sega. I actually want to buy it. So yeah, when I get next month when I get paid, because I ordered something the other day, which based on what Stevie told me last week, is something called the Satiator for the Sega Saturn.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't know about it, it's essentially it's an ODE optical disc drive emulator for the Saturn, and a lot of optical disc, so I've got the GDMU for the Dreamcast, where you have to literally get in there, replace the part of remove the actual optical drive, so the GD-ROM drive, and then put it all on board, and then you can put like an SD card into that. I've got one here as well, which this is called the mode for both the Dreamcast and the Saturn. But it requires a little bit more work. So for the Saturn, you actually have to really get in there and mess around a little bit. There's other ones where you actually have to use soldering and stuff. But the Satiator, I ended up Googling it and looking at it and saw a YouTube tutorial on it. I was like, this is off the chain. Basically, all you do is open up a flap on the back where you normally put the VCD card, like the expansion pack card, and you just slot it in there, basically. And that's it. And then you can run games off SD cards, and you can also still use the optical drive, so you can still use the CD-ROM drive. So you don't have to like mess around modding your actual console. So I was like, hell yeah. It is very expensive though, that's the problem. But I did have some money saved up for something last year, which I didn't get to do because of COVID. So I was like, I'm going to use that money for this instead. So yeah, hopefully it's ordered. I don't know when it's going to arrive. So it's probably coming from, I don't know, China or somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully we'll get that. I've got the order confirmation and processing things come through. So yeah, exciting times. So yeah, that's it. That's basically
you held up a box for the mode, and my weird brain that grew up with Bleemcast being a thing, it blows my mind that something like that, not that something like that exists, but that someone's mass produced it enough that it has its own box to basically replace your disk drive with a card reader.
Yeah.
In your record.
I know. It's nuts.
I mean, that's the way to go if we're talking about game preservation, to still play stuff on consoles but not have the hard software. So
yeah, that's exactly it. Like
space systems, though, honestly.
Yeah, because the Dreamcast, I replaced my one in with the GDEMU in. That's one of the ones which like kept resetting itself and like was getting problems with it. So I could either get the Dreamcast fixed, or I may as well just mess around with it and do this. I've got a couple of spare Dreamcasts as well.
Stacked up behind you there.
Yes, I've got a couple right behind me. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I'll hopefully give you guys an update. So
yeah, I'm excited to hear how that is, because the Saturn is notorious for poor emulation, and just more people need to play Saturn games. Maybe this is the way they can do it.
Yeah, and that's that. So if anyone listening or watching, that's the reason why you get one of these, because emulators on your PC, sometimes they work brilliantly, but not if they don't always emulate perfectly. Whereas these things actually let you play those ROMs and what have you, or even homebrew games on the original hardware, which is what they're designed for. So you shouldn't really be getting any glitchy graphics or sound effects or anything. They should actually be as the game was intended. So that's the bonus of it. And as you say, it's kind of game preservation as well. So yeah, very excited. Cool. So with that, do you guys need a break at all, or are you happy to keep going? Okay, I'm seeing nods. Okay, we will go into our break and we'll be right back. Thanks. Hey, we are back once again. Yes, hello, we are live. And we're now moving into the best bit of the week. Scotty Moe's Mail Sack of Wonder.
Here it is, where you ask us stuff and we answer it, hooray!
Now you can get ready, Scotty. There we go, we are live.
Time for the Mail Sack! Here we are.
Love it.
A little bit of a slow sack day, but we've got from the Megavision's email inbox. If you want to shoot something to us, I forget the email already. Is it megavisionsmag@gmail.com? Probably.
That's it. That's the one.
Yep. But we had someone reach out and just basically ask, what do you guys think of the recent Polymega situation? Because, boy, whenever there's Polymega news, it's a situation.
Indeed.
Always.
You want to give us the lowdown, because you posted about that on the site, Chris?
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even know about it until you sent some stills from their post. So
the Facebook story was how they let people know first.
I will say this: like, I don't know who they have over at Playmagy, who are running their social media and doing that stuff, but they need to get someone who's dedicated for that. So. They did. They posted on social media, I think on Instagram and their Facebook story, a series of posts that essentially gave updates to the current status of the shipments. Because lots of people like myself, and I don't know if any of you guys have a Polymega pre-ordered, but we've been waiting on our Polymegas for years now. They did release some beta units back in like November or December. For some YouTubers, or they've released beta units before that, but they allowed them to stream, I should say.
Yeah.
At the end of the year. But we were just still waiting on, like, when are we actually going to get our units? Around that same time frame, we got an email notification that's like, hey, this is a shipment notification. Your Polymega is getting ready to ship. And so I was like, okay, so that's pretty good. Maybe the next week or so, that means I should be getting something. Weeks went by, nothing. And so finally they did release this update. I'm just going to read it to you guys, and then we could kind of talk about it from there. So it says, Walmart.com went through a personnel change sometime last year. And since then have stopped responding to our emails and phone calls, despite repeated attempts to get in contact with them regarding fulfillment of the North American pre-orders. We gave our 5+ contacts at Walmart and their distributor, Solutions to Go, ample time to respond and rectify the situation over several attempts to contact, but they have left us with no response, despite even threats of legal action due to the significant issues this has caused us all. So this isn't necessarily new information. They have posted before about some issues with Walmart fulfilling pre-orders, because even today, what's that?
Something key to point out. They never said specifically. I don't think they said Walmart exactly. They said their retailers. Yeah, like they were having issues with retailers, probably because that was when the legal bullshit started, and they couldn't just say Walmart's dicking us over yet.
It seems like basically Walmart has a bunch of units somewhere and that hasn't started shipping them. So that's been an ongoing problem.
Yep.
And so I'll keep going. And so we are taking matters back into our own hands. Since we have no visibility into who or how many people have ordered Polymegas from Walmart.com, please let your friends know to change their pre-orders over to our website, and we will fulfill them directly to you as soon as possible. We will provide a precise timeline once we know how many are ordered, but they will likely be fulfilled in April or May 2021, given the ballpark numbers we did get before Walmart went dark on us.
Ooh.
We will leave the Walmart 50 discount code up for 60 days to allow everyone to receive, or to allow everyone time to receive their refunds from Walmart, blah, 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 blah. So basically, they're telling people just cancel your pre-order and then go to their website and pre-order. It looks so bad, right? I mean, it looks so bad for this, and I don't know what the actual, like, the truth of the matter is, whether it's really Walmart. It's hard to imagine that a company the size of Walmart and stuff like that just can completely drop the ball on a retail partner like this. I mean, does that? I just can't imagine that happens very often. Especially something.
I think for me, it's harder to believe a company as big as Walmart would remember that they even bought any inventory of this product.
Maybe that has a little bit to do with it too. But yeah, so people are just frustrated that, like, okay, this is another thing with this company, and it seems like it's starting to get to a point where it's like issue after issue, excuse after excuse, what's kind of really going on. But according to what they're saying, we should be getting, like, the people who have existing pre-orders from their website should start shipping within a few weeks, is what they were saying. And it's just the people who are now have Walmart pre-orders and then, they'll have to cancel theirs to go back. But from what I remember, it seemed like the Polymega, was it like $3.99 on their website, and then on Walmart it was $4.99?
Well, it was always like that. If you pre-ordered through them, the kind of the early adopters, you got it for basically $100 cheaper. I do remember that. I remember that because I kept kicking myself that I could not do it. So
the Polymega is $400 at Walmart right now, and I thought, was it $2.99 off their website at first?
It was definitely discounted. I can't remember the price because I nearly went for it, but then I was like, I can't actually afford it. And then suddenly it all sold out, and then all the prices shot up. I was like, well, that screws that up. Currently it's $4.49 on their website, but you can get the deluxe bundle, which has got a saving on it. Ooh, $649 instead of $765.
But that gets you all the modules. We should point out that's not just the console. Yeah, the add-ons.
I will say this, because at the time that we posted this, you could still get a pre-order at Walmart.com.
Okay.
Going to the website now, it shows that they're out of stock. And it shows here that it's priced at $3.99. So I guess giving that $50 discount code gets it back down to that price. But I want to say when they originally launched pre-orders for this thing, it was $2.99 from their website. Because you could get it for quite a bit cheaper than you were at Walmart. Because that was the thing, is like, if you were going to pre-order it, you needed to do it before it went on sale at Walmart because you could get locked in. I think this is during their, not the Kickstarter, but what was the other, the GoFundMe or whatever? Not GoFundMe, but it was like whatever company does that stuff.
It was basically Kickstarter on their website, on the Polymega website. Like they never did. Yeah. Right. They said they weren't going to do Kickstarter, but this is literally just like a Kickstarter. It's just on your website instead. They've been
essentially a pre-order on their website.
Yeah. It's been,
like I watched quite a bit of the gameplay and the streams of YouTubers with their beta unit, so I know that it works, and I know it works the way it's supposed to. I've seen the UI. I've played a Polymega at E3, so I know that it's not vaporware. It works.
Right.
It's just. I really want to give this company the benefit of the doubt and just think that, like, this is in COVID. It's hard enough to ship a new product anytime, and
it's so hard.
I imagine it's just radically more difficult. And so I want to say, like, this is just them having more issues, but they're seem to be on the right track, and hopefully they're getting their stuff out. I don't know if that's just me being naive of me, or what, if there's just like there's enough stuff going on here that we should probably be concerned a little bit.
I think so. H2O Happy Dude just hopped in and he said Polymega seemed too good to be true. Not shocked there are some issues going on. The thing is, though, I feel like we are the only ones supporting this thing because you guys physically played this. And I'll call him friend of the site, Sarumaru, who made the anime platformer FX Unit Yuki that we played a couple years of the marathon. He got one of those beta units. He's been streaming it basically the past couple of months since he's had it. And like, he's not a dude that's going to just do this because he has it. And like, he's not making money off of telling people it's good. I've watched him play Sega CD games, Saturn games, PS1, Turbo Graphics games on this thing. So it works. Like, it is out there. We know people that are playing it. We know you guys played it, but it's just like, it doesn't matter because they have no fucking clue how to talk to the human race on their social media platforms. Like, they would go back and forth with people, like they're arguing on Facebook almost, but on Twitter, and like they got called out for stuff and then they didn't reply well. I'm beating this drum every time we fucking talk about the Polymega because I want this thing to succeed. It is the answer to this problem back here and like failing consoles. But it's so hard to tell people to support this when they're dick jobs on social media.
And they get into arguments with Analog, the people at Analog a lot too. I don't know.
Which make good that's because like Analog, they make good products, and I wanted the Analog Pocket, but it would have come close to like the cost of this Polymega overall if I wanted the Analog Pocket to play my Neo Geo Pocket Color games and Game Boy, Game Gear, everything. Like, Analog makes good stuff, but they have the Analog NT, which is a Nintendo, the Analog Super NT, they have the Analog SG, which is a Genesis. Like, but each of these things are $100 to $200. I can't do that. So the Polymega is literally what I want in place of Analog, because you just flip out this what are they called now? The modules.
Mods,
yeah.
Modules.
You just flip out the modules. So that's what Graham was saying is the price difference there between. Do you still have that in front of you, Graham? It's the site.
Yeah.
So
I just lost it now. Yeah.
So right now there's basically the Nintendo, the NES module, the Super NES module, the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, and the Turbo Graphics module. Each of those go for $80. And then what are the price differences though, Graham?
So the base unit right now, without any discount code, is $449 for the base unit. That's with one wireless controller. It also says it's actually got some games bundled in as well.
We should mention the base system is just the CD drive that plays Sega Saturn, PS1, TurboGrafx CD.
PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, Neo Geo CD. So your CD-based consoles, basically, which is
that's
awesome.
A lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Saturn has the most expensive goddamn retro library next to Neo Geo. So, like, goddamn, we need this thing to do well because it could. It'll literally save the three of us here hundreds of dollars when we eventually get this thing.
And with that as well, apparently digital bonus digital pack-in games that include 40 Winks, Viper, which are both PS1 games, Iron Commando for the Super Nintendo, Top Racer for the Super Famicom, Rescue, the Embassy Mission for the NES, and Battle Squadron for the Genesis. So there's actually a few non-CD games included in that, which are packed in apparently to the base unit.
I think those are from who's that one company?
Pico Interactive.
Pico, yes, that's what I was going to say. I think those are all Pico licensed games.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because my N64 version. My N64 version of 40 Winks is on my shelf next to me, and that's Pico Interactive.
That looks like a Clay Fighter spin-off. The cover art.
It does a little bit actually, doesn't it? This was a game I really wanted to get back in the day because it's advertised for the N64, but it only came out on the PS1. And Pico Interactive basically got the code or something. I don't know if they used PS1 code and upscaled it or did something to it, but they basically got it and put it out on the N64 like 20 years later. So yeah, good on them. So very happy with that. But
can you guys I don't know if they said this, but in a perfect world, like games like Gunlord on the Dreamcast is impossible to get now. But imagine if like the Polymega store on your system, you can download a demo and try that game out, or just get an indie game digitally on your system.
That's what they told me. I talked to Brian Bernthal. He's like the CCO at PlayMagi at E3, and one of the things he was saying is like that's their plan is they want to have a digital store where these games are licensed. They license games from the companies, so everything's legit. The companies are getting paid. They're getting paid. The consumer is paying them, and they're getting a licensed, like legitimate digital copy of those games. And so that is 100% on the table. He said that's kind of once they get to retail and once they get the units out, their second kind of goal after that is to launch this digital store where they will have a lot of those. And they did say they'd love to have like indie stuff on there as well, not just like stuff from Sega and all the third parties. They're looking at independent stuff as well, which would be awesome.
Yeah, so that would be amazing for some of these indie developers who are doing Kickstarters for games to come out on like the Dreamcast and multiple systems. Like some of these games come out for. It's just like the perfect solution if they can then go, and you can just get the digital code for the Polymega.
Yeah, and you know what? Just don't be assholes on social media and hire a decent PR company to handle this stuff for you. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Happy Dude even in the chat, he says their social media is the public face of your brand. If you're failing there, your project or product will instantly fail, which is very possible.
Yeah.
You say the wrong thing on there, you're done.
We're going to compare the prices, weren't we? Because that's one of the things we want to look at.
Sorry, yeah.
So without any discount code or anything applied, it's $449 for the base unit. Which, as we say, does all the CD stuff. The deluxe bundle, which includes the base unit, so you can do all the CD stuff, the NES module, the Super Nintendo module, the Mega Drive and 32X module, and the PC Engine TG16 module. Those are all included, and that's $649. They've actually got their. It actually says $765, but it's down to $649. So they've got their own sort of special offer on that, and I think you can apply that Walmart code to it as well to get another $50 off. So yeah,
if that's true,
yeah. So that brings it down to actually let's just try this quickly.
Well,
yeah, it does. You can bring it down to $599 basically. So,
oh no, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
that saves you like almost $200 on buying the modules separate with the base thing.
Mm-hmm. So,
for the price of an Xbox Series X and like a couple games, you can get a Polymega.
The thing is, I'm tempted. Even we've got hearing out all these problems, and I've been skeptical about the Polymega because, Scotty, I know you said that you guys have played it earlier, but
I did not. Pal, Marson, and
right,
Sketch.
The way you said it on the show was you guys have played it, so I think people might assume that Chris and myself have played it. I have not played this.
Yeah.
And I was dubious, like when they're saying, "Oh, you can do Saturn, you can do PlayStation." I'm like, No. But I have seen the YouTube videos, and as you say, people are out there. They are playing it. Chris has met them, actually played it himself, and we know people as well. We actually do know people, like friends of the site who've got them and stuff. And we're like, man, this is awesome. So I'm excited. And up until recently, you couldn't even get it on their website. It was all sold out on their website. So, yeah. And the only other place I could see it to get it in the UK was via Amazon. But I don't know who the seller was on Amazon because they pushed the prices up quite high, and people were actually complaining, sort of going, this is like more expensive than the American version and stuff. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm tempted. What do you think, guys? Should I get one? Should I order one today?
You know you're gonna get one, Graham.
Yeah, did you order that stupid Game Boy thing that looks worse than a Game Gear Micro already?
Yes, it did. Yeah, I did order that.
Then I don't know what to tell you.
This might be the most expensive purchase we've got Graham to buy during a podcast, though.
But I don't know if I'm tempted to just get the base unit because that's all I really want for it. Because
I'm getting the base unit. I got the base unit because here's the thing: I bought this thing because I wanted to sit in my entertainment center and just be there for me when I want to play my retro games. The reason why I don't play my retro games as much as I used to is because I have to get them all out and attach them and do all this stuff. If now I'm having to put these modular blocks in and out, there you go. Got the mini
Scotty.
Tower of Power there.
Yeah, I'm holding the Tower of Power. I'm doing reps with this thing.
Oh dear.
And I don't even know where I was going with that anymore. But
because you don't want to have this stuff up, you don't want to have to.
You don't have to keep getting all that stuff out. And if you want to stream it, it's more effort because you got to find like the connection devices and stuff. Like you've got to get the right cables to be able to stream it, to plug it in and stuff. So damn it.
I just don't know if the modular things is going to be something I want because a lot of the stuff too is my reason for buying this is for the CD game support. Because I have like 8 systems that play all this stuff anyway, and those are clone systems, not even talking about the original hardware, which I have all that stuff too. But so I just want something that can sit in my entertainment center and just do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one thing that really excites me about the sort of Mega Drive Genesis one is the fact that it plays 32X games, because none of those clone systems play 32X games.
Oh, does it? I forgot that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. It says it plays 32X games, which actually really excites me almost, because there's some really good games on the 32X. I mean, there's not that many, but there are some actually really genuine great games on there. So, but yeah, all these problems with Walmart and the fact that they're crap on social media and stuff, and I don't know, as it keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed. I know COVID's probably factoring into this, but yeah, it gets me worried, it gets me concerned. And if you order now, if you're ordering at the moment, it's estimated to ship in Q3 2021. So you've still got months to wait, like well over 6 months to wait till it ships. So I don't know, like 8 months or something. That'd be like 8 months to wait now.
I mean, I can understand. Think of it this way. If they're shipping stuff, this is not a big company that's doing all this. If they're shipping units from like their own warehouse, they already shipped out units to Walmart. And if they're trying to undo that, that makes sense that it's delaying overall shipments because half of their inventory is with a company that hasn't done shit for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that helps simplify it. I don't know why they don't just come out and say that. Like, the inventory is not with us, so we can't ship it. Shut up, you'll get your console. So,
I mean, has Walmart come out and said anything about this at all? Do we know?
No, they're not going to fuck. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Like, it does seem. Oh man.
Fuck Walmart. Okay. We're pulling for you, Polymega. Stop being assholes, and everyone else will too. They don't. This is not like it comes down to like legal action with Walmart. Yeah, okay, that's like the mom and pop donut shop wants to sue Krispy Kreme. Who's going to win?
Yeah,
that's not a great example, but you understand. That's about it for the questions. Did you guys have anything else about Polymega that you wanted to express?
No, just I'm excited, but I'm apprehensive.
I wonder if they're going to be, I wonder after all this and when the events start happening, if we're going to still see them at like E3 and places like that. Because I want to see what they got going on, what they're going to be saying to the customers when they are back face to face. They can't hide behind their social medias anymore.
Yeah, I think they need to give away a couple consoles or something to get in better graces with people, maybe. So anyway, I think that's going to just about do it for the mail sack.
Nice one. Awesome.
That transition goes to you now, Graham.
It does indeed. So, yeah. So, with that, we will move on to our lovely topic, which is our picks of the week. Yes, it's our picks of the week. And as always, every week we look into something we've been enjoying in the last week. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a video game, it could be a board game, it could be a book. Whatever it is in the world of entertainment, with this crazy lockdown world and COVID life, we've been playing these things. They aren't really the best things in the world, but we're having fun. So we're telling you about them, so you may enjoy them as well. So, yeah, I will kick it off this week. And I'm glad Chris is on the show, actually, because I mentioned this a few weeks ago. I started watching Schitt's Creek a few weeks back. Don't you remember, Chris? And you'd said that you'd seen it and you'd watched it and you finished it. Well, I have now finished it as well. So it's all up on Netflix in the UK. I assume it's on Netflix in America. I don't know. But yeah, and I'm going to go out there and say, hands down, this is probably one of my favorite shows I've ever seen in my life. I freaking loved it.
It's so
much.
good.
It's so entertaining. And as I said previously on the show, when it came to TV in the UK, there's a TV channel called Channel 4. They own a few different channels, but anyway, they basically were advertising it on all their channels. And it looked like the worst bloody TV show to me. I was like looking at it going, this looks terrible. But as I say, I kept hearing about these awards it was winning. I kept hearing people actually saying how good it was. I think Chris might have mentioned it as well to me. And eventually one day it came on Netflix. I was like, I'll give it a try. And I watched the first episode, and halfway through the first episode, I was still a bit like, not sure about this. And then by the end of the first episode, I was like, I could definitely watch more of this. And then by the second episode, I was like, this is freaking awesome. I'm loving this. So yeah, and I guess for those who don't know about it, to give a very quick overview, essentially, there's the Rose family. There's a dad, a mum, and then two kids who are grown up. They're in like their mid-20s, basically. There's Alexis, the girl, and David, the brother, and yeah, they are super mega rich. He used to, the dad used to own a video chain store Rose Video, basically like Blockbuster or something. But and yeah, they were like multimillionaires, and then it turns out his financial advisor or someone had basically taken all his money, so they were literally penniless, had nothing to their name. However, for the son David's 18th birthday a few years before, as a joke, the dad had bought his son a town called Schitt's Creek, which is kind of like a bit of a backwater place, like far away from any cities and stuff, like in the middle of nowhere. It's this little town in America. And yeah, basically they were told, yeah, you guys can. There's like the only asset the FBI or whoever, or Homeland Security, I don't know who it is the FBI? People who took their money in their revenue, the revenue people, whoever, the government, IRS. I don't know who it is. Some sort of agency in America basically came in and started taking their house and all their possessions. The man came in, and many women, I guess. But yeah, they took everything. The only thing they didn't take was this town, because it's not really worth anything. And also, like, who the hell was a town? So they're basically forced to move there and live in a motel. And it's kind of about this, the juxtaposition to the two worlds collide of these really, really rich people who like stuck up. They've lived in like their own little bubble for the last like 30 years, and they're now living among normal people. So yeah, and it's not
even that they're living amongst normal people, it's that they are poor themselves now.
Yes, they are now poor themselves.
They're destitute, and they're living in a motel, and it's like they're used to this posh life, and it's stripped away, and now they have to kind of like live with the normal people. But the way in which their character, Graham, it's so good. I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're actually technically, if you want to talk about it in this way, they're actually lower than the normal people, because they have nothing. Literally, they're living at the motel for free, basically. And yeah, so they've got to try and build their lives back up. But the way they're used to life and stuff is being very rich. So they've still got all their like nice posh clothes with them and stuff. And the way they like go about their lives, they try to sort of do it like they used to. And yeah, it's
Tell me about some of the individual characters, Graham. Tell me like what you like about them.
Okay, so yeah, good point. So the mum, Moira, who's played by Catherine O'Hara, so people may remember better from the Home Alone movie. She's the mum in the Home Alone movies. I love the way she speaks. It's bloody genius. So her character, she is a former soap actress and stuff. So she was in a very successful soap opera back in like the 80s or something. And she's of an age where she wasn't really getting any work anymore, but she was living a very luxurious life. So she just loved, just went about living. But the way she speaks is really slow and clear. Like she speaks very well, and she's got amazing inflections in her voice. And she's like a walking thesaurus or thesaurus. I don't know how you pronounce that word, but she just knows like words. She uses words that people would just never use. Like it's rather than saying, "Would you like to have a chat?" She's like, "I believe we should parlay," and stuff like that. Like the way she talks. And yeah, it's kind of very clear that while she doesn't always go, she doesn't. Oh God, how can I explain it?
Does she understand what she's saying?
She understands what she's saying. That's the other bit. She's not being an idiot. She's actually not an idiot.
Okay.
So the way she talks, it actually works really well. But it's kind of when you're like actually talking to her, it's like, oh, that's a bit weird the way she says it, but it actually makes sense, perfect sense. And she's very set in her ways and stuff as well. And she kind of cares more about herself than other people. That's what it seems, at least at first. But then you actually learn that she does care for everyone else around her, just in her own weird way. Yeah, and the sister Alexis is like really. She's like, the best way to explain it is like one of those rich valley girls, I guess. Like just very like
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, like a Paris Hilton, basically. Yeah, and the way she says her brother's name, David, I just love. She's like, "Ew, David," like. The way she says it, like at first I was like, that's really weird, but the way she says it, she keeps using it and it just works so well. And she's actually really sweet and innocent at heart, but she just doesn't really know about life. That's the thing. None of them really, the two siblings don't really know about life and stuff. And David, one of the things I love about the show is David. So David is, okay, oh God, I've actually gone the word for it. It's not bisexual, but he basically loves men and women, but he loves everything. The way they describe it, there's a special way to actually describe it. But his relationships,
I think it's pansexual, maybe.
It might be pansexual, yeah. The thing is, this could sound like a very weird comment, but his relationship with his boyfriend Patrick is possibly the most natural and convincing homosexual relationship I've ever seen in a TV show, and it's actually just so beautiful and pure. Like there's something about their relationship.
Here's the thing. This is why it works. And this is one of the reasons why it doesn't work. It's because in most TV shows and movies, when they have a homosexual character, that's their identity, is being homosexual.
Right.
And so that's in any interaction that those characters have, all it is about them being gay. And so then, or homosexual. And so then they become just this weird, like you don't connect with them. They're just this weird character that are just a one-dimensional, and it could be anything. You could just say, like if you have just a one-dimensional character, there's nothing there. With David, there's so much more to his character than that is one aspect of who he is, but
yes,
it's much more to that. And I think the reason why is I believe he's homosexual in real life. He and his dad are the main writers and the producers on the show. They created, and I think that's what happens when you get someone that has that kind of creative control and has the personal experience with it and treats the characters with respect. This is what you get. And it's not hard. It's just you can't. What happens, I think you get a lot of producers involved and they're just wanting to create these like just cookie cutter characters, and it's just so bad. But to your point, you're absolutely right. This is the way you portray a homosexual relationship on TV and do it really well and naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they almost touch upon elements of like homophobia in society, but they never actually go into that, because the great thing about the town they're living in is everyone's really accepting and stuff. And I feel like that's a really good thing. They stay away from those stereotypes that a lot of TV shows go into, like, oh, there's always going to be like a character, like their parents won't approve or whatever, and they have to be won over. It's not like that at all. It's just them living their lives. And I just loved that. It was like so a lot of times they steer near stereotypes, and they just swerve away just at the last minute. It's just really refreshing, and I bloody love that about it. And it's not like throughout the whole show that all the characters develop and progress, like the way the roses grow into the world and they sort of pick up their lives again. It develops and grows properly, like naturally, and it's not like a lot of sitcoms where they learn a lesson one episode and then the next episode everything resets. You know how that sometimes happens, and it's just like, oh, back to point A. No, it's they've progressed. They refer to things that happened like the week before and stuff.
I have to ask, what did you think of the actual finale? Like once you made it to the end, what did you think?
The whole of the final season, the build up, because you could kind of tell they were drawing to an end. It was actually quite emotional, and some of the topics they brought up and stuff, and it was just really beautiful. Like they nearly brought a tear to my eye. A lot of the episodes. The actual finale episode though didn't. That was it wasn't necessarily a disappointing episode, but I feel like then the way they ended it was decent. But it's more the build up towards the end, which really got me more emotional. I was like, wow, this is.
We cried like babies the last episode. I did. And it wasn't because it was sad. I was sad. I was sad because I knew this was the end of these characters. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get them again. And I loved the journey that we were on with them, because when we started, they were just terrible people.
Yeah.
You know, and like what you saw that journey, and you fell in love with each character for different reasons. And at the end, you're like, this is it. This sucks so bad. I want so much more of it. It's so good, but it's probably the right time to stop it.
That was I think that was the thing. I feel like it was sad to see them go, but at the same time, I'm happy. It's their time to move on, basically.
That's how you want your shows to end. You don't want it in like The Walking Dead, when you're like, fuck, just go away. Exactly.
Like, it drives me nuts how like The Big Bang Theory got like 12 seasons or whatever, and this got like 6.
Well, this one was a big victim of no one knew about it. It was not popular as it was airing at all. No one cared.
It aired on Pop, the Pop network here in North America, and it has like 7 people have that.
yeah, I've never even heard of that.
And
I wanted to say real quick, that's the relationship between the parents and children. That's one reason I enjoyed the latest Bill and Ted movie so much, Face the Music, but because the teenagers were not the stereotypical, I hate my parents because I'm a teen. I'm going to be a teenager, and they don't understand that. Like, it was the opposite. So it sounds like that kind of goes into this a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And I think that's the other thing. The relationship the family has themselves at the start is very dysfunctional almost. Like, even though they've been living this amazing life, they weren't really a family. And there's like, when they lose everything, they sort of come closer together and stuff, and you just see them grow and thrive along that journey. So yeah, it was so good. And touching on the point you made, Chris, I think this is actually moving to to the TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Mm-hmm.
The captain in that's one reason I think he works so well as a character. He is a homosexual character, but him being homosexual is not his character. The fact that he's like a robot with no emotions is the thing. He just happens to be homosexual. I think that's why his character works so well, and it's that's what makes that show funny for me. It's so good, and that's, as you say, in this, that's what they've done with David and stuff. He's just a normal person with lots of layers, just happens to be pansexual. So yeah, but yeah, anyway, I can't rave about this show enough. I thought it was brilliant. It was a great little journey I went on for the last few weeks. I was watching at least 2 or 3 episodes a night before bed. So yeah, definitely one to check out. And I won't say it's the funniest show ever. Like that, literally laughing my head off. But I won't say it's like literally the funniest show ever. But for episode, it was completely consistent. I don't think there was a single bad episode in that show, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. So yeah, that's me. I'm actually drained just from talking about it.
Elliott in it too. Shout out to Chris Elliott.
Oh yeah, Chris Elliott. Yeah, I only really know him from There's Something About Mary. I know he's in other things, but that's what I can think about. He plays the town mayor, and he's a little bit of an idiot, but he's at the way he brings up subjects or gets his point across actually works really well. So yeah, it's really good, and his wife is hilarious. In fact, I just like all the characters. To be honest, all the characters I enjoyed. Yeah, like Twyla is very underrated. I loved her, especially at the end, the way her character progressed and stuff. Just a little background character who's brilliant.
Yeah, for sure.
And Ray. Sorry. Anyway, go. Right. Okay. I'm gonna stop.
Bring back the sideshow on your own time.
Yeah, we should do. Right. Moving on. If no one else has got anything to say, I don't know if the chat's been talking about that at all, but yeah, that's Chris.
Happy Dude did look it up, so I think we got somebody else interested in it.
Oh,
so
perfect. Yeah, happy to check it out.
I should give it a shot. It's hard for me to sit down with Netflix stuff anymore because it's just... Actually, you know what? Without getting too much into it, Tiger King showed me like, oh, just because it's on Netflix doesn't mean it's something I need to watch.
Dude, they're putting out so much crap on Netflix. It's like every day they're just just stuff for everybody. They know all they want people to do is sit in front of the TVs and watch Netflix all day. So they're just throwing everything out there, which is kind of cool because, I mean, there's a lot of fun movies out there, but there's nothing really of substance, I wouldn't say. It's like stuff to keep you entertained while you're fucking in a pandemic. It's
right. It's interestingly enough, I think Netflix has gone full circle from it's a Netflix original movie. Like those used to be like that was a level of what type of movie you knew you were going to watch to then like, dude, who's in this? They were in that thing. They're doing a Netflix movie. Like some of them are like, yeah, because this would have gone straight to DVD, but very much all over the place now, from their series movies to everything.
Actually, just one very quick thing on with Schitt's Creek and Netflix. Netflix has got like a 45-minute mini documentary, which was put about Schitt's Creek, which was put out after the show ended, which I haven't watched yet, but I want to watch because I think the actors talk about how the show came about and everything. So I'm very interested to watch that. I don't know if you've seen that, Chris, at all.
I have not watched that one yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Is that the one that they released to coincide with the last season?
It might have been. Yeah, okay. I've just seen a quick trailer for it, and I stopped the trailer because I was like, I want to watch this properly. But yeah, it's like a mini documentary thing or something.
Wait, for what? I missed it. What was that you were talking about?
It's Netflix put out a mini documentary. It's like 45 minutes long about Schitt's Creek. They're like interviewing the actors and the people who made it, basically about how it came about and its success or not success. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I need to see that, but that's something I'm interested in. That's something Netflix has put out that I'm interested in, basically. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put that.
One solid prop to Netflix when the latest Cloverfield thing came out. The marketing reminded me of the first Cloverfield movie because nobody knew. It was just suddenly on Netflix the day that it was released with no marketing, and that's Cloverfield. But you can do that with Netflix, huh?
Stranger Things, the exact same thing.
Oh, did they?
Just literally dropped on Netflix.
Oh, okay. And, I didn't know about it and get into Stranger Things until
it just became this viral thing on social media. Everyone just started talking about it, and then became what it is.
Okay.
So I will tell you guys what I have been watching because enough shit.
Carry on. Go.
Talk. I watched Lupin the Third, the first. I've never been a big Lupin the Third or Lupin the Third. I always called it Lupin. I know I'm mispronouncing it. It's Lupin. But I've been wanting to get more into it because I've heard that going back to Netflix, there's a new Netflix show called Lupin that's based on this guy who basically lives his life upon the code of Arsène Lupin, the original Lupin. And it's really cool. And so it's made me want to go back and get more into Lupin the Third. So this movie just came out, I think, last year. It was produced and made by TMS Entertainment. Also, Marza Animation Planet did it, which you guys might remember is owned by Sega Sammy. So there is some Sega connection to this as well. I will say the animation in this movie is some of the best I've ever seen. It looks so good. It reminds me of like when I saw Toy Story for one of the first times. It's like, oh my, these characters look like plastic. They look real. Like, how do they make them look like that? Then go back and look at the original Toy Story now and compare it to kind of what it looks like. You could see how well it's progressed. That technology has progressed so far and it looks so much better. This to me looks like the next step on that kind of like Pixar animation style and just how good it looks. It looks to me as like the next step beyond that in this movie. Are you guys familiar with Lupin the Third at all?
I only know the name. I've never actually seen it or anything. I just know it exists. I know the name, but yeah, that's it.
He's a more seductive and less smooth James Bond, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea is he's a gentleman thief.
Okay.
And horny.
Grandfather, the original Lupin, that's what he did. He was a gentleman thief. And there's all these exploits. There's all these books written about him. And it's I guess it started in, he's German, I believe. But I know in Europe, Lupin III is very popular, especially in France, I believe. And so basically this story, it's set in the 60s, and he's trying to find this diary called the Bresson Diary, and it tells of an ancient device, like in South America somewhere, like kind of like the Lost City of Gold, something. It's along those lines, and he's trying to find it because it could unlock untold energy, and if you put in the right hands, could do like so much good for humanity. But if it falls into the wrong hands, it could do very, very bad things. So then there's obviously some villains in this movie. I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but I will say there are some German guys that are up to no good that are, looking
Making trouble in the neighborhood.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
Doing crime.
So they're trying to get the Bresson Diary as well for their own nefarious means. And so it's up to Lupin and his kind of team of people. And he's got various characters that are part of his like group that help him along the lines. And they're really, really awesome. It's over the top. Like Lupin, to kind of characterize his personality, he's almost like, you've seen The Mask, Jim Carrey, The Mask. He's sort of eccentric in that sort of way. And he almost has supernatural abilities, but they're not. But he's not a superhero. Like it's almost like he's a cartoon character. Like he can fall out of a plane and like land and hit, and he's okay. Like he doesn't just like die. It's kind of like zany like that. The characters, the voice acting is so really well done. I definitely, guys, you definitely have to check this out. If you've never watched Lupin the Third before, I think this would be maybe a good way to get introduced to the series, and then kind of go on from there. Like I was saying, I did watch that live action Lupin on Netflix, and that is so good. There's only 5 or 6 episodes. I want to say each, it's about an hour or so, and it's really neat. Like I said, he basically idolizes Lupin, and everything he does is kind of, he follows his code. So the first episode, he decides he's going to steal this necklace from the Louvre, and he sets up this intricate plan to try to do that. And I love those crime movies where you think that you see something, but then it shows you what really happened. And it's always like sleight of hand. Yeah. Like the Casino Royale movies, all that stuff do it really well. It's like you see them doing this. So it's a lot of that kind of stuff. So it goes back. You're like, that's what happened and stuff. It makes it a lot of fun. I suggest both of these shows.
So when you said Casino Royale movies, do you mean like the Ocean's movies?
That's what I meant. Ocean's 11, I think, is what I meant. Is I don't watch a lot of those movies, so I'm not.
Daniel Craig and George Clooney at it again.
Oh,
basically, those two cats. What are they going to do next? So, if you're at all interested in like watching this, I think Lupin the Third, the first, is definitely a good way to introduce yourself to it. If you're not into animation and cartoons and stuff like that, then I say go watch Lupin on Netflix, because you still get some of that. And Odin he watched both of them with me. We had to close his eyes on some of the parts of the Netflix show, but for the most part, it's okay to watch. I think just a little bit of violence.
Why did you have to close his eyes on the Netflix show?
I want to say there was a couple parts where there was some like little violent parts in it that we didn't see. But the animated one, it's it's fairly okay. There is a character called Fujiko who's this very busty, like I guess she's also a crime like thief like Lupin, and they work together, but they're also kind of they can be adversaries at first sometimes. Yeah, like she'll try to steal from him if she can.
She's like the Rouge the Bat of
Yeah, but if he's falling out of an airplane, she'll just come in and she'll save him. One of those things.
It's
so she's always there. So it's one of those type of things. It's a fun series. I'm definitely going to keep watching it. And I know Lee he used to write for Sega Nerds back in the day, Lee Sparks. He runs his own Lupin the Third fan page, I think. And so I see him post about Lupin the Third all the time. And so I'm probably going to go talk to him. Nice. One last thing before we move on. Scotty, that Windjammers link that you sent me, that's the same one I'm actually bidding on right now on eBay. It's funny because I clicked it and you need to increase your bid. And so
nice.
I'll let you guys know in about 4.5 hours if I win Windjammers on Neo Geo.
I should also give you guys an update on the Poly Mega situation from my side. I've gone through the shopping cart stuff with the deluxe bundle. So I got it down to $5.99 using that discount code. Went to the shipping side. It's now $701 because it's over $100 shipping to the UK.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Whoa, I'm not sure about.
Just ship it to one of us, Graham.
Yeah,
we will ship it.
Honestly, no joke. Do that.
But I wonder if that's because it's got the 4 extra boxes or something. If it's just going to be.
It fucking better. You better be able to pop a pizza in that thing too.
Yeah, I'll have to double check how much the base unit is on its own. Because if that's $30 shipping, I'll be okay, I'll just get the base unit. But now,
I'm gonna try it on my side real quick. I'm gonna try adding it to the cart and seeing how far I can get with that bundle and everything. The discount code. Before we get too far from Lupin, though, Happy Dude in the chat said, "I found out about Lupin the Third because I found a Real Big Fish AMV from back in the day." Seriously, really. So AMV,
Lupin and Ska would there's a Venn diagram. I wouldn't think it's very big at least.
Wow.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Okay,
that's pretty great.
Just another quick update. I've just done the base unit, and that is $73 shipping. So
it's more about international. I'll tell you.
Okay, I did the deluxe bundle, $50 off Walmart code. Shipping's $22.90. Altogether, it comes to $621.90 for me in America here.
Man, so maybe we'll have to.
You're over there fucking buying an MPS card. You're talking about the Poly Mega. Meanwhile, I got car troubles, and we got to pay for that fucking bill. So that's where I am.
Okay.
A rumph.
Well, I'll have to talk to one of you chaps after this to talk about some sort of shipping thing going on. But yeah. Okay.
He's doing it, folks.
But anyway, right.
All right, that's me. Scotty, what's your pick?
Yo, pick it up.
Tetris Effect. Giant Bomb's, formerly of Giant Bomb, Ben Pack, recommended this because he's been open about his anxiety, and he's said that Tetris Effect is such a relaxing and soothing, get in the zone, not Tetris 35. It's funny that I ended up grabbing this because I have played a lot of Tetris 35 since we just got or Tetris 99, Jesus Christ. We just got the Switch last year during the pandemic, so I was playing a lot of Tetris 99. I like Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. I just reviewed it for the site, but that game is a different type of intensity. I suck at the Puyo side, but Tetris Effect, it is VR compatible. This is on the PS4, but it's also, which is recently released on Xbox One. I don't know if it's on Switch or not, but it is just one of the best things I've played in some time because you just zone out. It does help if you're a little bit experienced with Tetris, if you're better at the game overall, but it's still just as enjoyable if you're not a crazy hardcore Tetris fan. I'm not playing it in VR. I don't have a VR setup, and I'm still very much enjoying it. The view of the play field is pretty small comparatively, but they do that because the background and the theming and the color schemes are really what you're kind of paying attention to, but not as well as the music overall. The vibrations of the controller sync up with what's going on, but I was fully captivated by this game. And when you hit a button and like it cues like this lady singing, but it didn't sound like words to me at first, but it's a different language. But so it would be like ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da. So of course I instinctively hit the buttons as fast as I could. So it would be like ba-da-da, 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 you know, and then eventually once you clear a couple lines, the beat kicks in and the controller buzzes with the beat, with the bass kind of and stuff like that. It's very much a game that like I started playing after work just to zone out and kind of my what's it called when you sort of relieve stress, but
stress reliever.
No, and thank you, Captain Webster
Sort of
Dictionary.
relieve stress, but
no, dynamic soundtrack says "Happy Dude" is what it is, and he does say you can zone out with the world playing competitive classic mode. Totally worth it. It's worth it. Yeah, definitely grab it. What is it called? Decompress. It's the thing I can play to decompress after work. So chill, so cool. It is very music and visually oriented, and just the style, the visuals I can't even describe or do justice to. But there's everything from like, and when I noticed how much the visuals play a part was when all of the blocks, all the tetraminos are the same color. So you're not focused on like, okay, a blue one, that means the long piece. Okay, orange is the weird Z piece that I hate, you know, stuff like that. Like they're all the same color, and more happens depending on how well you do with certain things. And like the songs kind of build as you progress with your skill, which is very, very, very neat. You feel like you're creating the music and the atmosphere as you're playing.
That's cool.
So I can't recommend Tetris Effect enough. I realized how much Tetris is inspirational in my life because I'm very much a visual person. And the only type of math I've ever been good at is geometry because I understand shapes better than numbers, I guess. But like, so I really like Tetris. But if I had played this in when did it come out? If I had played this in 2019 or whatever year it came out, this would have been my game of 18. Jesus,
yeah, apparently so.
This would have been my game of the year had I played it the year that it came out, hands down.
Okay, it's funny because when I actually Googled Tetris Effect earlier, because I was not aware of this game. Apparently, Tetris Effect is something that occurs when people devote so much time and attention to an activity that it begins to pattern their thoughts, mental images, and dreams. And it takes its name from the video game Tetris. And apparently, people who've played Tetris for a long time find themselves thinking about things, thinking about ways different shapes in real world can fit together, such as boxes on a supermarket shelf or buildings. And they can see coloured images of pieces falling into place like on the edges of their visual fields, apparently. So it's like actually kind of like its own syndrome, effectively.
It's a legitimate thing. Yeah, it's kind of scary and crazy, but it kind of like how when you play too much Guitar Hero, then the next screen you feel like it's visually moving upward, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. So it's
yeah. They say it's a form of game transfer phenomena, GTP, which I've actually experienced after playing Jet Set Radio, because I used to rollerblade a lot when I was younger. And in Jet Set Radio, when you're jumping and stuff, it's really floaty, obviously. I remember going to a skate park, going up a ramp and thinking, I'm just going to glide back down, basically. No, I ended up smashing my elbow as I landed really hard, and it really fucking hurt. Which is not the worst skating accident I had. I think I was pretty close to death at one point, but there's no one really around and managed to fix myself. That's another story for another time.
Jesus Christ!
I feel like I need to explain. I feel like I need to explain this.
Go for it, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
So, I'm sorry for derailing this situation. God.
Yeah, we never do that on this podcast.
We never do that. Do you know what a spine ramp is? It's basically two half pipe ramps put together, and basically the middle bit's like a spine. So I went down one of those. I was like basically going, just doing some basic things, going up and down like that, basically. And I went up one point, and I don't know why, but basically, like, imagine this is like the curve of the ramp. I was skating along, was going up, and like normally at the top, I'd like twist around and go around back down again. But for some reason, I just went up and just sort of didn't bother to spin, and I just went up, and like my feet just left the edge, and I was like, "This is my back here," and I sort of just left the edge of the ramp and just like slams back down. The gravity took hold and slammed back down right on my back. And it did when you get winded, it was the opposite of being winded. Basically, the air was getting sucked into my mouth automatically, and I had to cough to exhale. So it's like, if you try to breathe in and then keep trying to breathe in, you feel like you're like choking. It's like, like you can't breathe. And I was just sitting there going, oh my God, oh my God. And my friend came over, I was like, are you okay? I'm like, and then he hit my back and I coughed, and suddenly the air just went straight back in again. And he was like, what? Oh my God. And I was like doing that. He just kept hitting my back until eventually my breathing just started working again. But he had to keep hitting my back for me to exhale. And it was like the scariest shit. And then my back was in so much pain. But I went home to tell my mum about it, and she's like, "You'll be fine," sort of thing. I'm like, "Oh God!" I think I had to go to a swimming. I think I went to a swimming lesson that evening as well. It's like, "Oh, the water will help." And it's like, like bloody hell. So yeah. Anyway, sorry. So I actually experienced that game transfer for Romeo at a different time. Anyway, carry on.
Sorry, you went off that ramp and you thought you were playing Jet Set Radio, and then you bailed and landed, and you're like, "Jet Set Radio, no." Sorry,
there we go. That's fine. Don't worry.
I had a shortness of breath recently, to be honest with you, because I haven't played drums in a while, and I went. And they're not at this house; they're over at my mom's. And I went to play drums, and I played through one song, and I had a shortness of breath. That's how out of shape and out of practice I was. Like, I did not feel good breathing after I was playing drums. So we're all out of shape, folks. And to quote someone, "COVID make a bitch thick." So
I've experienced that for sure.
Yeah. So sorry. But hey, Tetris Effect is great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, was there anything else? I feel like I derailed your conversation on Tetris Effect. Sorry.
No, it's just really good. Go play Tetris Effect.
I'm really interested. That dynamics or soundtrack idea sounds really cool.
Yeah, you'll know whether or not one or two levels in if it's impressive to you or not.
Is it in my head? It's almost. I know the game's not like Rez, but it sounds a bit like Rez. The way that the more you play, the way the music sort of becomes part of the game and stuff.
Yes, that was something I compared it to when I told someone else about it. I said it felt like Rez in the way that you don't even realize you're still playing the game, but you're somehow doing well because you're just in that zone.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. And Happy Dude just said the soundtrack is on Spotify, so maybe I'll listen to the soundtrack first.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly recommend against that, because I don't think the soundtrack is something I could listen to outside of the game, because it is part of the actual gameplay.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I think you would do it. You would be hindering yourself to listen to the soundtrack first.
Okay, fair enough. I will see if I can get hold of the game. And is it only on PS4 or is it on Xbox as well?
It just came out on Xbox as like the enhanced or super edition or something. I forget. Okay.
Oh yes, it's November 10th, 2020. Wow. So yeah, PlayStation 4.
They announced it during the E3 crap, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, it's on PS4, Windows, Oculus Quest, and Xbox One.
I have played more Tetris in the year of 2020 than anything else, because I did Tetris 35 and then Puyo Puyo, and now this is out. So in the span of 1 year's time, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, it has online multiplayer.
Ooh.
Interesting. I don't know how that would work.
Okay. Well, I do have a PS4 now, but I just play my Xbox One so much more. Anyway, sounds good. I'm basically sold. I'll check it out. And yeah, awesome. Cool. So I guess with that will wrap up our picks of the week. And should we move on to our feature discussion, chaps?
It can be quick unless somebody's got any restraints.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. So we will move on to our feature discussion.
Feature discussion now.
Brilliant. I think that picked up that last bit. Fantastic, Scotty.
Okay.
So our feature discussion this week is what we're calling the reverse elevator pitch. The general idea is we each take it in turns to say the name of a real game. We're actually tying them to Sega-related games, so made by Sega on a Sega system. And then the other two take it in turns to come up with an elevator pitch for that game based purely on the name of the game. So doesn't have to actually be what the game is about at all. And then the chooser picks the winner between them of the best or most imaginative description that is given. So just to give a crap example that I've written down on the outline.
Yeah, give me a game and I'll be the example second half of it.
Okay. I'll just say the one that's on the thing, Far Cry 3.
So in this game, you're very far away from other birds and you're upset about it. So you're crying, and it's a crying and walking simulator until you can talk to the birds. Perfect.
There you go. That's what it is. And then Chris will come up with another one. We don't have to do that now, Chris. It's okay. And
maybe we should call it reverse bad elevator pitch.
Okay, reverse a bad.
You're going to end up like that. So do you want to do the thing where we each give one and you pick who has the better one?
Sure, why not?
We could try to tally points for that, maybe.
Yeah. I've also got we've got the little guess the game music plugged in here, so we can put that on as well if you want to have a little bit of background music.
Might work.
Yeah.
Who wants to keep score?
Oh, I can keep score if you want.
Do it.
I'll type this into the outline. There we go. Okay, so who's going to go first? Scotty, do you want to have your game go first, or should we have Chris go first?
However, whoever's most comfortable not saying a pitch first, I guess.
Chris, do you want to say your game first?
18-wheeler Pro-American Trucker.
Hell yeah. All right, Graham, you or me? Who's going to give it first?
You can go, buddy. You can go. It's all you.
So 18-wheeler Pro-American Trucker. You would think that it's about trucking, but actually it's a diner review game where you go in and only eat and order off of shitty diner menus, and then you get back in your truck and give them a score on Yelp. That's the whole game.
I love it. Oh, that's so much better than what I can think of.
You got to think of it now, off the top of your head. We're in the elevator. What are you telling him?
Oh, God. So your one was really good. It's a game where you start off as an amateur truck person, and then you start to get paid to become a pro trucker, and you have to run. You only have 18 wheels, and they keep bursting. And when you get to your last wheel and it bursts, you're out. So you've got 18 wheels to go, son.
I think you actually saved that pretty well towards the end there, but I'm going to give it to Scotty. But I think you did a good job towards the end. Saved it. You were drowning there for a little bit. So
Scotty gets a point. Let's have a little bell, Scotty. Give you a little bell. Ding, ding, ding.
I have an air horn. Okay.
The audience will hear it, don't worry. Okay.
All right. I trust you.
So, Scotty, do you want to go with your game next?
Sure, I got one for you guys. Rub rabbits.
You choose who goes first.
Graham, you give me your pitch for Rub Rabbits.
Oh, okay. This is the best game you've never played. So, essentially, you are playing as rabbits, surprise, and the whole idea is you have to try and get affection from humans or any other animal that you come across. So you have to run up to them and rub against them, and the ones who like you the most will give you food and stuff. And you basically get bigger and bigger and bigger until you're a happy little rabbit.
So you rub and get bigger as you rub?
You rub against the humans or whatever, and then they give you treats. So yeah.
Okay. All right. More rubbing, bigger, get treats. Chris, what is Rub Rabbits? Why should we make this game?
In my game, you're trapped on a deserted island, but it's not a tropical island. It's the opposite. It's cold in this island. It fucking sucks. It's snowing all the time, but it sucks. Trust me. You don't want to live there. But the only thing on the island are fucking rabbits, and they're everywhere. But you don't have any wood on this island, so the only thing you can use to make a fucking fire to get warm are rabbits. You have to rub the rabbits together as fast as you can, and then they just spontaneously combust, and then you have to get more rabbits, rub them together, and throw them on the fire. And that's the only way you can start a fire. If you can start the fire, you win the game.
Okay. Graham pitched me a Tamagotchi-like experience, and Chris pitched me a survival, possibly horror experience. So we're going to go with the survivalistic, snowy, destroy all these.
There you go, Chris. You get a bell, Chris. You get the bell.
All right.
Nice. Okay. I'm not going to be very good at this game, am I? Okay. So my game is okay. I've got my little list up. I am going to go for Ghost Squad.
Okay.
I will go for Chris first.
Okay, it's a game set in the Game of Thrones universe, but instead you control Ghost, the dog, the direwolf, and your job is to create a squad of other animals to join your squad to go and fight back and take the North. Just with your animals. It's a whole animal invasion, including rabbits.
Okay.
Great. I see an overlapping. I see an ongoing universe now.
Okay, Scotty, what do you got?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. You've heard of Ghostbusters? Well, maybe ghosts don't want to be busted, and these are the ghosts that are going to take care of the human civilization without us knowing it. So when people go missing, it's because the Ghostbusters got out there and took care of the problem. And so, yeah, are we really dying, or are the Ghostbusters really containing us and bringing us into the dimension that we belong in?
Ooh.
Now I have anxiety.
Ghost Squad
coming on because of that. Thanks, Scotty.
Oh,
No
I actually
Squad.
like both those descriptions. That's actually quite a tough one. I'm going to go with which game I think I'd enjoy the most, and I think it would be Scotty's game. I'm sorry, Chris. But,
all right.
It was Scotty.
You ever built your own animal army and invaded with these animals? I think not.
See, now I'm torn. Now I feel like you both deserve a point. I don't know.
I forget what was the first game we talked about that I described?
Oh no, wait, that was Chris's. Rob Rabbits. That was your first one.
No, I didn't give a description for that though.
18-wheeler Pro
18 wheeler.
trucker.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, and then with Ghost Squad, the people that phoned in about the ghosts also go on Yelp and write a review. That's going to be my universe, the Yelp universe. Chris has the rabbits rubbing the fire starting rabbits.
And I don't even have a game yet, so this is my games are not going to get made. Oh, dear.
Okay, I'll go next.
Yes, you will.
Or I'll announce mine next. All right, the next game we got to come up with, guys. We got the title, and we're sitting here at the meeting table. Tell me what this game is going to be. Choo Choo Rocket.
Who do you want to go first?
Chris, Choo Choo Rocket.
Okay. All right, Choo Choo Rocket. It's about you're living on a rocket, but the only thing is there's no food. But the rocket is made out of candy. And the thing is, you have to eat the rocket, but you can't destroy it. You have to eat it for sustenance, but you're constantly having to rebuild it. So on the rocket is actually a candy making machine. And so you have to make more candy to rebuild the rocket so you can keep eating it. But there's no you can't eat the candy that comes out of the machine. That's the problem, because it has to be in outer space first. Don't ask questions. It's just the way the game works. It works much better with this.
Oh man.
Okay. And Graham, your rebuttal to that?
So I was going to go for something very similar, so I'm going to change mine on the spot.
How?
I was going to basically, you're trying to eat a rocket in space. But okay, I'm going to reverse it. You're not trying to eat the rocket. The rocket is alive and eating things. So the rocket is the choo-choo. It's going around eating planets and other ships and stuff. And yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to go around eating things, get bigger, get turned into a bigger spaceship. And
so you are the rocket.
You are the rocket.
I wish I want to change mine now.
Or should mine? Oh, actually, maybe mine would work better if the rocket is chasing you. You've got to escape the rocket. The choo-choo rocket is after you. Yeah,
that's what I first thought.
And it's driven by giant cats, and you're a little mouse. It's attacking. Yeah, there we go. No.
That's almost what the game already is, though.
Shh, calm yourself.
In this universe where this game hasn't been made yet.
Yes.
Man, yeah, I got to go with Chris's on that. His resource manager's horrific idea kind of works.
Hi.
So, can I have a backup? Can I tell you what my backup
just won the point.
Because I think this is better. What about a game where you play an old train conductor, but your train is a choo-choo train, but it's also a rocket that you have to drive your train from other planets, and so it's basically like a driving simulator, but you're flying a space train in outer space. And
no. Gave you a promotion with the last idea. Now we're going to let you go.
Do I get the point now? Can the point be reversed?
Take it away. Take my point away.
Yeah, we were ready to promote you, make you VP with that first recommendation, but now you got to see your way out.
Your first one was a lot better.
And out your desk.
All right, how about this one?
No, that's it.
No, my turn. I thought it was my turn now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The game.
I got more ideas. Okay. Are you guys ready for mine?
Yes.
Sure.
Seaman.
Damn it.
I take it out of Scotty's ones. Let's get the bed music going. Who do you want to go first?
The bed music?
Scotty.
That's right. You guessed it. He is Seaman, and he's a superhero ready to save the day with all kinds of things that start with the letter C, such as cucumbers and cars. So he throws cars at enemies. He makes them eat cucumbers and confuses them because they're like, is it a zucchini or not? Bam! Punched him, knocked him out, done. Seaman, saving the day.
Okay.
I panicked.
Mine is also on the superhero theme. That basically you are playing as Seaman, and you're this weird, creepy, voyeuristic kind of superhero who can just see and he spots things really clearly. And it's up to you to help solve crimes, but you're actually kind of a bit of a sneaky little guy. So you don't want to get caught by the police because you're kind of like a vigilante, but you are Seaman. Yeah, you're going to spot those crimes and then report it.
You just described the sitcom Psych.
I've never seen that. I don't know. Okay, I've never seen that. Is that what Psych's about? I thought he was a psychic, isn't he?
No, he's definitely never seen the show then. No, he just has a photographic memory.
Oh, okay. Well, the Seaman can see things. He sees things, and he calls the police. He's like, "There's a robbery happening," but he's like a vigilante. You got to try and do it without getting caught by the bad guys or the police. Seaman.
Yep, that's like. Chris, your call. Who had the better game?
Word a point on this one. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go with Graham's on this one because I feel like Graham had a little bit more creativity in his.
Finally,
he's on the board.
A guy who can look at stuff really well. My guy uses. I didn't explain where he got the objects from, but I don't know anything like that. Fucking whatever. How many of these you guys want to do? Like,
okay, one more. Okay, what if we finish? Okay, so this is the start of what, round 2?
We're on round 2. I haven't had my second one though. I haven't said my second one.
Okay.
Let's do 3
rounds. I've given 2. So Graham, you do one more, and that'll all of us will have given 2. So yeah, we could do one more after that.
Okay, we'll do one more round.
Okay. Crypt Killer. We'll go with Scotty first.
Fuck. All I can think of is Corpse Killer. Crypt Killer, we don't need cemeteries anymore. So this guy, your job is to monopolize the cemetery business and come up with a better way to dispose of people. And you know what that's going to be? Oh man, there's this hot new flavor of Spam on the market, and it's a certain color that people... I'm just describing Soylent Green. I don't... Damn it. Crypt Killer. It's you versus the Grim Reaper in a fighting match. First person VR view. You got to steal his scythe from him and beat him up with it. It's a boxing game, but instead of boxers, you're fighting symbolisms of death from different cultures. I like that better. I think you're muted, Graham. Still muted?
Okay, my button on my microphone was playing up a bit there. Yes, I'm unmuted now. Sorry, yeah. Okay, Chris. Fantastic, Scotty. Chris.
Have you guys played Katamari Damacy?
Yes.
I know of it.
So my idea would be you're this magical little alien, and your job is to rid the world of graves and crypts. And so you're rolling, you have to dig open a grave, and you drag a body out, and you start rolling it, and it starts collecting other dead bodies. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you've rid the world of every dead body, because it's this giant human grotesque thing, and you send it out into the sun, and you save humanity because we have no more dead people.
Okay. I am going to go with...
But it's way fun, and it's lighthearted, too.
I go with Scotty.
Is that what the back of the box says?
So it's basically Balan Wonderworld, but you're just collecting dead bodies. That's basically what it is. Imagine that. But and there's no jumping in the game at all.
Because why would you?
Oh my god. Sorry, Chris, I'm giving Scotty the point for that one.
Damn it.
Nice,
Cool.
Yeah. But I think the Balan Wonderland adaptation is quite interesting. Oh man. Okay. Chris,
that's what the back of the box is going to say. It's like Balan Wonderworld, but way cool. All right, so this is round 3.
Round 3. Fight.
Is this like some sort of like we have to up the ante? Is this some like some sort of bonus round or something crazy? Like we need some sort of music going, like that's really fast paced.
Oh, I've only got the basic music in the background for the audience. So
I was going to say, like, for this round, the game cannot involve people somehow. Whatever the game that we describe, I don't know what you want from a bonus round though, or like a more challenging round or what.
Okay.
So people can't be involved. Okay.
Yeah.
In the name of it or in the game itself?
Oh, in the descriptions we give.
Got it. Okay.
Like, so I mentioned like fight the Grim Reaper. I mean they were kind of people, but I would have been immediately out because I mentioned people are involved in the game in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. Who's going first?
Chris.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you this. All of mine have a theme to them, and they were all on the Dreamcast. And this one is Bang-I-O. You don't want a person or a name or anything like that in there. So.
Damn it! Because otherwise, I almost want to give my instant reaction, which will get me disqualified.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll start since I was going the G-rated route. You suck at that. Bang-I-O is about some might remember a song from when they were young singing about farms. It's like that, but the animals are on the farm and there are only animals on the farm, and you wonder how there are only animals on the farm because there's no things besides animals that run the farm, but there's a lot of blood everywhere and we're not sure what happened and who the real owner of the farm is, and it turns out we're the monster.
That was quite the twist.
What a twist indeed.
Oh, Graham, I'm going to say this. If you can't beat that, I don't even know what we're doing here. And that's as much of the layup as I think Scotty's going to give you all season long.
Oh, good. So...
Although I would admit, this is really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd go for that.
So it's a game about chickens, and essentially it's just like a fighting game. It's like an action, like Streets of Rage style game, running along and stuff. But they are called the Bang-I-O team, and as they run along, and when they do, they perform a power move together. They go Bang-I-O, and then they attack, and it's like a super powerful move, and that's why it's called Bang-I-O.
Oh man.
Well, I'll see ya. I've lost.
I am going to give you the point, Graham, but not for the reason why you think.
Oh.
Not for the big I.O. part at the end, which was funny. It's because you added chickens into your game. Because my next game that I was going to go for, it was going to be Chicken Run.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say because you actually own chickens in real life and he's brown-nosing.
I do physically own chickens, it is true. But no, it's because Chicken Run was going to be my next one, and that was good. But I do like that. That was quite creative. So, good job.
Thanks, buddy. Okay.
Sheesh.
Oh, man. Scotty, do you want to go next?
I can give you a game indeed. So this is Shit, I'm torn now. I had so many ready, and we got to pick just one left. Yep, you know what? Screw it. Mr. Bones.
Who do you want to go first?
Chris looked like he was ready.
I was hoping you were going to grab.
You can go, Graham, because I think I made you go first last time for my
There
game.
we go. Yeah, you go, Graham.
Okay, so Mr. Bones. It's a game about. It's a game about these creatures who have no bones because they've missed their bones. And so the idea is you start off like almost like a gelatinous slug type creature, and you've got to go along, you've got to find different bones for different creatures, and maybe you have to fight them and attack them to steal their bones. And you turn yourself into a bigger creature to like win the day and fight big bosses and stuff, but that's what it is. You've missed your bones.
So it's a pun. It's spelled MISSEDYOUR bones.
Yeah.
You've missed your bones. God damn it. All right, good luck, Chris.
Okay, I'm going on the same thing, but my game is going to star Bones, and her name is Miss Bones, and she invites you over, and the whole idea is it's a house cleaning simulator, and you are Miss Bones, and you have to go in and clean this really wealthy person's house before they get home, and if they don't, then you turn into a literal Miss Bones. You turn into a skeleton and die at the end.
So, is Chris disqualified there because he actually mentioned person at least twice?
You're right. Fuck. God damn it. I did. Dang it. I forgot about that.
Go on.
Okay, mother.
Well, to be honest though, Graham won that as soon as I realized that it was spelled "missed your bones." So the pun.
What about mine? It's the same thing. Miss Turbones.
You weren't the first one to say the pun.
I knew I shouldn't give it up to Graham.
Sometimes going first helps in this game, it seems. Oh,
That's
man.
great. Oh man. Okay, yeah, Graham, you got a point for that one.
Do we have one more?
It's my turn now. I've got one more.
Is for the last round 3.
Yeah. Okay. So, damn it. I've got loads of games, and there's two I'm sort of torn between.
No, Graham, you get one.
Yeah, I know. Option A, option B. What should I go for? I am going to go for the Funky Head Boxers Plus.
What?
I'll say that one more time. Funky Head Boxers Plus.
Is that some weird Japanese game that released on the Saturn that no one ever heard of?
Possibly. I have no idea what the game is in real life.
Oh my god!
But we don't need to know what the game
one
is.
More time.
Funky Head Boxers Plus. Should I put it into our Discord chat so you guys can actually see what it's?
Oh, I know of this.
Did that
Okay.
just come out on the
I
this week? Because it sounds like a Switch game.
Actually, I'll also put it in the actual Twitch chat so people can see it. There we go. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'm okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Pick
with who did I choose last time? I think I chose Scotty. I'll go with Chris this time.
Don't remember. Yeah.
God. Okay, so in this game, you control one of the Funky Head brothers, all right? And they got their boxers stolen, and it's kind of like Floyd Brothers. You know what? I just did again. God dang it! I just did it again. No, that's it. I can't do it. God, I completely forgot about that. That's hard to do.
You're the one who wanted to have a rule in for this final
I didn't want that rule. I just said, let's up the ante. I said, just play some music or something. That's all I wanted. Just something to make it like...
Chris knows to keep his mouth shut now to suggest anything mid-game. Okay, cool. Funky Head Boxers Plus is... so it's a rhythm... Wait. Yeah, it's a rhythm and a fighting game because you are... Okay, so you've got your DJ board and you're trying to come up with sick beats and other things while you're fighting forest animals that come at you and want to pick their next song for the prom that's happening in the middle of the Disney Animal Park prom. that's going on. You're the DJ, and you have to physically fight the people that come up and say, no, I want to play this song, and no. And while you're mixing the music, you also have a rhythm game happening where you have to punch and fight them as you're the things coming down like Guitar Hero. So it's like a mix of DJ Hero with Fight Club, and I meant to say another game, but I didn't. Mechanics where you're fighting and mixing music at the same time. You got to keep it funky, and the plus is only plus-sized people are... Damn it, I said people! Fuck!
You're both disqualified. Oh, no. Oh, dear.
You should have just stopped talking.
Yep, I should have just... Yep, that's the story of my life. Story of my life.
You didn't even say anything. It's a game about a dog. Then you would have won.
Yeah. I would have been more qualified.
Oh, dear. Oh, man. So... Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to ask what kind of DJ that was, because sounds like the DJ was human, but you didn't really specify. But yeah, anyway.
No, I was careful up until that moment.
Wow.
What a game. Okay,
so if you want to hear the scores that I've got jotted down, well, actually, interestingly, there was one round where I gave Scotty a point, but I felt like giving Chris a point as well. So can I give you both a point, or is this just 1 point?
I think 1 point.
Just 1 point.
Why?
Yeah,
I'm confused.
Because Scotty, your one was really good, but also Chris's was actually really good as well. I actually I would have put $1 million down on both of those games.
Which one was that?
I can't even remember now.
I think you picked Scotty's game though, didn't you?
I picked Scotty's game, but I'm torn as well. But yeah, but okay, Chris, if you don't want that point, are you sure?
I do want the point, but I feel like if you gave it to Scotty, it's his point.
Okay, so in last place is Chris with 2 points. And in joint first place is Scotty and Graham with 3 points each. Ding, ding, ding.
Did we do something wrong that the points didn't work out? Oh, no, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. No, there was confusion that it would have been a 3-way tie. Okay.
Yeah, it adds up to 9 points.
Yeah.
3 rounds of 3.
Wait, that does actually, no, that adds up to 8. How's that work? Oh, God, have I just missed something out? Oh, no, I didn't give Scotty... Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. Apologies, I didn't add Scotty's last point on from that last round.
Oh.
Wait, no, no, technically, no, wait, you both didn't get a point.
We both lost.
Yeah, so that makes sense. That makes sense. So that makes sense. So you both lost on that round. So that does make sense because it adds up to 8.
No points were awarded.
You both got no points were no points were awarded on that last round. Wow. How did we get so confused with that so easily? Wow. Okay, so there we go. Brilliant. So with that, hopefully people found that fun. I don't know. I thought it was quite entertaining for a little bit. But with that said, that is the end of that feature and the end of the show this week. So, Scotty, have we got any announcements to make or anything? Or Wagwan?
There's plenty going on the site, but I will mention our Twitch streamings first because we've gotten back. We're getting a monthly rotation going on again with the Thursday night throwdowns, twitch.tv/megavisions, which if you're watching this live, that's where we are right now. Otherwise, go check us out there. But we stream almost every day of the week, and Thursday nights are a big community game type thing where most recently we played Sonic the Fighters. I think it was a decent success. We had some new people join the Discord to play with us because you have to join the Discord to get into the game itself and get invited and stuff. But the week before that, we did Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform. That was a lot of fun. So we're going to have those in the rotation, some other things. We were talking about maybe Daytona because that has an 8-player multiplayer online thing on PS3 and 360, and maybe some Puzzle Fighter, other stuff going on. So check us out on there. I have a video I'm working on, which is a comparison video for the different versions of Xenocrisis that you can get. I recently got the Vita version, and it really, some of it really blew my mind, the differences amongst them. So I wanted to do a video comparing those rather than just an unboxing. Everybody's kind of comparing, how's the Xbox One version play against the Switch version or the PC version or the Genesis version? So I want to compare the actual physical releases of them because I'm crazy and own it on a bunch of consoles. Yeah, don't forget we've got t-shirts. Go over to TeePublic and just type in Megavisions. You can buy some of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Chris, have you got any announcements as well? Or
I guess not to bury the lead, but we did put out a Patreon post about a week and a half or so ago where we gave an update on the magazine and just kind of letting people know what's the latest with Megavisions magazine. The biggest thing that we announced is that Sketchcraft is no longer serving as our art director. He ended up having to move on to other professional opportunities. He's been working with Toys for Bob. He recently did the last Crash game. Did a lot of the like concept art and some character design and stuff like that. So awesome stuff. We're super thrilled and excited for Sketchcraft. Basically, what it means is just more and more of his time's taken up with some of the game development side of stuff, and it's just unfortunately he's not having enough time to devote the time he needs to Megavisions. And so it's just, we realize it's a hard decision, but it's really not fair to the Megavisions readers to just keep trying to find ways to make it work, and it's just, we were just having too long of timelines between issues. And that's not just necessarily just a Sketchcraft schedule or anything like that, but it's just everything kind of rolled into one. So what we announced is that basically we're going to start doing a redesign on the magazine. Lots of changes coming to the actual magazine itself. And I know some people may be a little bummed about Sketch leaving, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to see Sketch's art in the magazine anymore. We're still really good friends with Sketch, and we'll probably see some of his art back again. But we are going to see the magazine make some changes, and we'll have some of those announcements and things like that down the road when we're ready to do that. But we are at work redesigning the magazine, and I'm very, very excited about the future of Megavisions, because I think where we're taking the magazine to, Graham, is where we initially envisioned like the magazine was going to be. Yeah, it's taken a long time to get like the kind of just the whole operations up and going. It's taken probably about 4 or 5 years to really get to this point where we feel like we can take on the kind of magazine we wanted to do. I'll just say that.
Yeah, basically.
So exciting things. We're gonna be very public and transparent with what we're doing. We want to involve our readers and get ideas and things like that, and make this magazine continue to build it and make it more of what our readers want. And so that's really what we want to do. So more to come on Megavisions and issue 10. But if you like, the long short of it is we're working on a redesign right now, and once that's done, we'll let you know, and then we're going to turn our attention to finishing up issue 10, and it's going to be very exciting. I'm excited, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Of Megavisions, I gotta say, 2021 is going to be an awesome year for the magazine. For Megavisions as a whole, we're growing so much. Like the streaming side is doing so well, the magazine side is doing really well, and I think it's just going to be all about growing all aspects of Megavisions this year. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. Right on. Cool.
That's all I got.
Yeah, nice. I don't really have any other announcements other than to say thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for listening. If you want to find us, you can find us at megavisionsmag.com, on social media at megavisionsmag on Twitter and Facebook, and at megavisions on Instagram. And follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/megavision. So there we go.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers for watching. Excellent to each other.
Honey, I gotta tell you about this sandwich.